Call you back, or I'll just call him.
Have him call you back.
Yeah, give me a call back so we can set up the time for tomorrow, okay? Thank you, bye.
You read that.
Okay.
I would prefer,
We're on camera. Yep. Yeah, we prefer what?
2:30, either, or lunch.
Well, Catherine can't make it at 2:30. It would be just me. Or Joe. All right. We'll open this meeting of September 11th, 2014. Time is 4:30. Let the record show that Selectman Scanlon, he'll be on his way. And all other selectmen are here. First on our agenda is the approval of 8:14 and 8:24.
Make a motion to bring the minutes of August 14th, 2014 to the board, to the floor for discussion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes?
Aye.
Yes.
We're talking too softly. Sounds
Okay. Whoa, that's the first time anyone's told me I'm talking too softly. I do have a couple of non-public minutes also in the envelope here.
Okay.
They're very,
Me and Joe have already gone through them.
very small. Hey, John.
Page 2, under Selectman Dawson, it says reported that the inspected at the middle school. I think that should be inspection.
Under inspection, you said
Selectman
reported
Dawson.
that the inspected at the middle school should be inspection. The first line? We're on the August 14th.
yeah, so we're thinking that we
She still didn't listen, did she? She's telling him before. She's... Have to do that.
Oh, that's all right.
Sometimes I wonder.
I'd like to table the minutes until next week. I can explain why. On some of the things, I think I said something about helping out to do the shingles that week, but I haven't had the opportunity to review the video, as well as in the dog section, Selectman Dawson also mentioned quite a few cons and other questions, that only the pros are listed in that section. I'd like the opportunity to review the video to make sure that her comments were included too, unless anybody else is aware of.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
So I
Those
thought
are good points.
if we could, I don't think it's an emergency or anything to review them, that.
No, no problem tabling them. We could continue correcting them for spelling and
Any other
punctuation.
things?
Do you need a second? Is that the way? I will second it.
Okay. Motion's been, a motion to table has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're tabling the minutes of August 14th because John feels that there's some, in the part where it talks about the K-9 unit, that there's some of the cons not listed here that,
Every single.
right, that, so he'd like to review the tapes and put the cons in there, and then also he volunteered to do the, repair the shingles, and it's not written in where Allison has, when Allison met with us, so that should be noted in that portion of it. So he'd like to take some time and review the tape. So we have the minutes of
There is no more minutes.
There is no more
24th?
minutes.
Oh, it says the 24th here. Okay, there's none, okay. So we have the minutes, the non-public minutes of August 13th and August 19th. There, I just thought of an omission in that. We did make.
I'd like to make a motion to table those minutes as the meetings were not properly held, and I was not noticed of those meetings.
Well, they were properly held. And how can we
I'll
table?
explain.
But
I'll
how can we
continue to
table
explain.
how can we table
I'd like
the
to
minutes of
explain.
a meeting
That we don't
when
have.
you weren't there?
I was not invited to that meeting.
No.
Oh, that's not true, John, you know that.
I have records of it, and I also received an email that the meeting was to be held on Thursday, the 20th, not the 19th. I had a telephone call that said that they were talking about having a meeting on the 19th at 5 o'clock, and I would get a call back, and that all selectmen would be present. I'd never received a call back. I replied to the email stating that I would be there on the 20th. The
I
meeting was held
personally made that
without
phone
me.
call to you to personally have that meeting so that you would be available, and you said you would be available between 5 and 5:15. That's when we held the meeting purposely so that you could be available for that meeting.
I
And we
was told
posted
that I
it-
would get a call back,
We
and I did not
posted the
get it.
meeting properly,
No.
and we had the meeting. It lasted probably 15, 20 minutes, and you were stuck in traffic.
No, I
So-
was not.
Well,
I
that's
was
what
at
the
work.
text said.
No. I have them all. And
I
I
do
want to
too.
make it very clear that I was told that I would get a call back to confirm that there was a meeting, and at the same time, I requested, if there was going to be a meeting, that I would like copies of the budget amounts as to what was spent so far towards raises and that, because I was concerned that we would exceed that amount. I never received a single phone call back that the meeting was on. The only thing I received was an email, which I forwarded to everybody here, that, yes, I would attend the Thursday meeting. I did arrive at the Thursday meeting at 5 minutes of 5, as I said I would. There was nobody here. Period.
The Thursday meeting?
Yes. I have a copy of the email.
Because
Oh,
it said,
that was-
initially, when Catherine Rosner sent out the email to everybody, it was 10 o'clock in the morning. I spoke to him probably about 1, maybe noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Asked him
12:01.
So when could he come to the meeting and be at the meeting? It wasn't an email, it was a phone call. And
That's
he said
correct.
he could be here tonight on Tuesday evening between 5 and 5:15. When we got here at the meeting at 5,
No,
I
you said you
texted
would
him
call back to
and said,
confirm you haven't talked to any other selectmen. And I also request that we get the town's attorney involved in this to
why would
discuss
you want
this.
to, John, what is the big deal about this?
I'm making this public. I'm not being
That's fine,
included
make
in
it public.
meetings.
It is public right now.
That's right.
We've done
I
nothing,
have not
we have
been
done
included in
nothing
the
wrong.
meetings.
There are going to be times when there are miscommunications or
No,
misunderstandings.
that was not an emergency.
Or
There are needs for an
clarifications.
emergency,
We
and I was
called a
not
meeting.
going.
We invited all the selectmen. We posted it in a 24-hour period.
The
We
third week
do.
of March, we all decided that we would not meet Without
No,
me
we
before
did
4:30.
not.
It is in the minutes.
No,
and
we did not. We
policy
said we would
or
try to
money
accommodate the
decisions will be made.
selectmen in any way possible. We would try to have meetings to accommodate everyone.
I ask that you review the minutes in March
I
when we
have
decided on
reviewed the
them.
minutes, but we can't accommodate all the selectmen all the time. It's impossible, John.
Yes,
I don't
no,
know
it's
why you
not.
signed on to this position if you can't be flexible
I
enough to
think we
know
need the town's
that.
attorney involved in this.
For what?
For what purpose?
For what purpose?
I don't
Because
get
I've
it.
not been included in the meetings or properly noticed. There's been decisions made, despite we decided that meetings would be at 4:30.
We did
We
not
also made
decide that.
decisions.
We said
The
we
only
would
time
do
we give
every
town business,
effort
that's the
to
time.
make we would
That was not an
make
emergency.
every effort to do that.
If
There
that was
are
the case,
times
we don't
when
know.
the selectmen, and it's come up that the selectmen would have meetings in the afternoon because of situations that cannot be any other
On
way.
page 6 of the meetings in March, that decision was voted on by everybody and decided on.
Well, John, you have the right to go and get an attorney if you'd like, but I don't think we need town's attorney to discuss anything. If you want to discuss it with an attorney, you can. You're a selectman, you have every right to do that. That's up to you.
I have every right to attend meetings and be properly noticed.
You're properly noticed every week. You know we have a meeting here every
At
week at
4:30.
4:30.
Well,
Every
That's
week.
right.
Unless something comes up where the meeting cannot be held at 4:30.
Emergency.
I've been there myself. They've made decisions without me on things I probably should have been involved in, but you know what? I'm not gonna make a big deal of it because I couldn't be there. It's just the way it is. It
I
happens all
stated
the
I
time.
wanted to attend that, and I stated I would attend the meeting that was noticed for on
Well, the text I read
20th.
off everything, you would be here that night that we had the meeting. So I don't know where you're coming from
Could you
with
show me that text? I never sent a text saying I would be there at that night. I received a phone call, that was a phone call discussion at noontime till about,
So the phone call
12:15.
comes down to my word against his word, and, you know where that's going to go between two people. It's never wins in any situation. So it doesn't matter. It's, John feels like he's being slighted out because we, every once in a while, have a 4 o'clock meeting, or evaluation times. We have always done a workshop above and
early.
beyond the selectmen's meeting because we can't do it.
at the bottom.
Can't possibly have a 3-hour evaluations and
Have a meeting.
then have a 6-hour meeting on top of that. I mean, you're
On top of
setting,
that, we spent 8 hours that day in this room. 8 hours.
well, we have a selectman that feels he's being disenfranchised from meeting, regardless of the reason.
we try
We have
to
a
accommodate in
selectman that
every way
feels
we
that
can.
way. We need to listen to him and be absolutely certain that that's not taking place.
I
It
hear,
is difficult to try to schedule meetings for everybody's needs.
I hear you loud and clear, Catherine, and I am willing to go to the nth degree to listen, but don't shove it down my throat like I'm doing something illegal that I'm not. I will go to the nth degree to try to accommodate all of the selectmen, and I think in 6 years I have tried my very best to do that. However, don't tell me that you're going to tell me that you're going to get an attorney against
I
me.
never said that
because
I'm
I'm,
going to. I would
it's-
like
we
a
have
town
illegal
attorney to
meetings.
discuss
Come
with
on, that's
our scheduling
ridiculous.
meetings.
What exactly are you looking to get out of this, John?
That, it's very clear that at any time that the selectmen get together and discuss town business, that it is properly noticed to all of the selectmen, and all of the selectmen have the opportunity to attend to it. And that we don't have these meetings impromptu during the day unless it's an absolute emergency and we get some kind of consensus. In the point where there is an afternoon meeting, and one that I wasn't able to attend, previously, we put me on call. We set up a phone right here, so I was able to conference in on it. That was not given. This was where we voted on something of major money amounts, 23% raise, and that was done without me attending. It exceeded the amount that the legislative body said that they wanted for raises. I have the right to input on those things.
We had 2 meetings, actually, we had 3 meetings. In all 3 of those meetings, you said you could not attend.
No, that's not correct.
You were absent at them.
One meeting, we were having a washout, and I checked for property damage that was going on at the moment, and I got in a car accident. And I let you know right away. I apologize for not attending that.
Was that a
I
regular
attended.
scheduled
That was a regular,
meeting on Thursday night?
yes, that was the one in between the vacations. The other 2 meetings were during the day.
But the first meeting you were aware of, correct?
Which date would that be?
Hey, you had the accident, I
these.
think, Doug.
4:30 to
Okay.
6:30.
That must have been the meeting on 8/13.
Was it Thursday?
August 13th was at 4:30,
I believe that's it.
right?
It's a Wednesday.
That was a Wednesday?
Yep.
So that was the first scheduled meeting
That would be when they had
to
the
go
accident.
over evaluation.
Which we made at night to accommodate John at
Yes,
4:30.
and I did get in a car accident that day, Claudia.
That was a Wednesday night meeting that you're aware of. The other meeting was on the 19th, and that was at 5 o'clock.
I was not aware of that, or I did not agree.
I think
I
that
was
was the last
told-
meeting that was actually held so that you could be part of, weigh in on the
No,
decision.
that was not held so that could be part. It was asked if it was to be held the day earlier than scheduled, or than I was noticed on the 20th. It was asked if I could be there. I said I can make arrangements, and I was told that I would be gotten back to whether or not the rest of the selectmen could make it. I never received a call back. I replied to that email at my afternoon break at work at 2:30, because I had not heard back, that yes, I would be able to make the Thursday meeting. That was the only one that was actually confirmed and sent to me officially that that would be a meeting. I have
Okay.
a copy of that, if anybody wants to look at that.
We have
email
2
transaction.
meetings of minutes, of non-public minutes. One, which was a posted meeting that unfortunately you were in an accident and could not make, that we had posted around you and you couldn't make. What you're asking us to do is table this meeting and not vote on the minutes of that meeting. For what reason? I don't
Because I do not
understand.
believe it was an official meeting. I was not notified that there was going to be a meeting.
Yes, on August 13th you were.
On the
That was
19th, I
Wednesday.
was not.
No, I'm talking about August 13th, from 4:30 to 6:30. We scheduled a meeting with all of us sitting here at the Selectmen's meeting so that we could go over the evaluations. That evening, unfortunately, you had the misfortune of having an accident. We did not know that.
On that
We
one,
were
yes,
all
that-
here. So why would you
That
want
would
to
be
put
okay. That's
this
fine. That's
on
fine.
hold?
No, that's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think I've seen it, and copied on those things.
I've seen that, but there's no, you don't, does anybody want to see this? Because you don't have the record of the phone call, which is, unfortunate.
It's one, either the last week of March or the week, second to last week.
It's on my lenses.
No, I think it just boils down to, whether or not I made a phone call back to him to confirm that there was in fact a meeting, or Catherine called him back and said, yes, there is going to be a meeting, and neither one of us did, because both of us thought one or the other did it. But he texted back and said he was stuck in traffic. Remember, I texted him and said, are you coming?
At 5 o'clock. I didn't leave work. did not get enough time to tell
Well,
my
I'm
boss.
gonna make a statement because it's true to the fact, as your selectman, and as all of us are selectmen, that if a vote's taken, and it only takes a majority of 3 to make the vote, then the vote stands. So, I don't know what we're going to, or what we're gonna be getting to, or what you want, but if it's voted on and taken, it's done, as far as I'm concerned. Not all of us gonna be able to make it. Not all of us gonna be notified. There's gonna be mistakes happen, miscommunication, so
Did any of the
if we can learn
selectmen,
anything from this lesson, we need to communicate better, and we need to move on with this, because this is, we're beating a dog to death. It's
no,
just-
we're not, we need to make everything copacetic with everybody here. And I believe that one of the selectmen suggested, and Pat, you said to me, that one of the selectmen asked that all 5 selectmen be present for that, because of the meeting it was.
That's right.
And who was
Yes,
that?
Catherine requested that we make sure that John is available for the meeting. That's why we had it on Tuesday evening. That was why I called you and said, what was your earliest time you could come? You said between 5 and 5:15. That's why I called the meeting. During that time, was because you said you could make it between 5 and 5:15.
And I was,
And that's
we
why I
called back
did it.
and confirmed.
And I said to you, it was my mistake not calling you back and confirming, because I thought Catherine was going to do it. She thought I was going to do it. John,
Well, the meeting
I'm not
shouldn't have been held.
perfect. Hello?
We
I'm not
voted on one of
perfect.
a very large expenditure of money that went over the budget line that the legislative body voted on. And I specifically said that I wanted to see the amounts and where we were at with our raises before I would make a decision on it. I said I wanted to see those budget line numbers.
We try our best to accommodate all selectmen. It is best for us if all selectmen are present. Everybody has their input. It has always been that way. It will always be that way. We try our best to accommodate everyone. You know, unfortunately, I don't know where that communication was, John, but we set that meeting for you to be there at that meeting. That was the intent of that meeting. At 5 o'clock, that was the intent of all the selectmen getting together at that time. That's when Al went home and came back at that time so that we could all be present. It was not, oh, we're going to have a meeting without John.
But everybody was told but me that it was officially happening.
Well,
I
then,
don't-
moving
I don't-
forward, let's make
No.
sure that every selectman is properly informed when we have a meeting.
Well,
I think that, you know, and
the method of how we're informed is also an issue, too. I wasn't informed by email. I mean, I got a phone call from Catherine, can you meet? And it, you know, the majority of us decided to call that meeting so that John could attend. But, I mean, I got a phone call, can you? When can you? And my availability was given, and I got a phone call back, say, okay, meet tonight at, I even forgot the time. I don't know how the rest of you get notified of meetings scheduled. that way.
mostly through the phone. I can't open my email.
If it's through email or whatnot, but perhaps
It's mostly the phone.
each of us needs to indicate what is the priority method of getting in touch with us when we schedule a meeting outside of the normal Thursday night, 4:30 meeting.
Right.
Because I'm looking at this email, and it's confusing me, because this email seems to be scheduling a meeting for the night after we actually held the meeting.
It was sent out, according to that, on the 19th, which would indicate the 20th. It says, can you make a meeting tomorrow night? So I can understand what John's concern was there. He was thinking if he got it on the 19th, that they were talking about Friday. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of that email that isn't actually shown on that sheet, but... that
Actually,
part
it is, all of it's in there.
says Unquoted text hidden.
Yes, the quoted text is the next line on it. I can show you the whole thing, Club, if you want.
Be that as it may, let's move forward at this point, because we
other
can't go back. We have a majority vote of the Board of Selectmen, and we met all the legal requirements to hold the meeting. I don't know if we voted again, as it would turn out any different as far as the effect of that vote. I want to make this good for you, John. And I understand that you can't meet when sometimes we've been meeting over the years. But that's all part of being a selectman. Sometimes I can't attend the meeting. I insist, John should be notified. However that's got to happen, John should be notified. But if you can't make a meeting, you can't make a meeting. And I would like to say that you characterize that raise as a merit raise far above and beyond what the townspeople approved. And were it a merit raise, you'd be absolutely right. But it wasn't just based on merit. We did a study of what that position makes in the surrounding towns. And we had data to go by, and that's why we made the decision.
My concerns are not with who, what, when, and that. It's the procedure that was followed for doing it,
I want to make sure that gets corrected.
as well as that I was not given the opportunity for any input on that.
Well, the procedure to call that meeting, that second meeting, was correct. I have no idea of the notification of any individual selectman of the meeting, but certainly the meeting was called correctly. A majority of the Board of Selectmen voted to have it. So I don't think that's out of order
On the 19th
on the 19th.
at 5 o'clock, a majority of the vote?
Well, I know that we were all asked, could we meet? Well, I know I was asked, could we meet?
I was. That's why I came.
And that's how we ended up showing up. If you got missed, I want to make sure that doesn't happen again.
That's the issue.
That's what the issue is. And especially of something of a nature where we're spending large sums of money. And
Every time, John, because it's serious every time.
And I have no problem, such as like with, when we have to get together, like with Caleb Hill Road, there's a thing, I can't attend. I'm fine with that, that we don't have to schedule it around my time or anything. That's the way it works. Those things happen during the day. But I don't feel that this was an emergency nature. That meeting, was it an emergency?
Well, in a way it was. The board had made a decision that affected an employee, and we realized that you did not, as a member of the Board of Selectmen, have an input on this, and it was not a merit raise. It was beyond the scope of what that meeting was described to as being. We felt that we should have a meeting where you could have input. So in respect for the employee who's kind of left hanging, where we had gone through all the other employees, we felt that we should have the meeting as soon as possible. So it wasn't an emergency, there was no dire, something was going to explode or expire, but in the interest of being good employers and not leaving that particular employee hanging, we felt that we should have it, like I said, as soon as possible.
They would have pushed it out
2 weeks.
the
right?
third week, the third week to the
Right,
payroll.
because we weren't scheduled to meet that Thursday night.
Right.
If we're gonna go by the input of other selectmen, then I think you guys made a vote, I don't know, maybe a month ago it was, I believe, on an employee, and I wasn't involved, and you could have waited a week, I believe, but that didn't happen, but that's the way it goes. I mean, if we're gonna pick and poke at certain things we do, we pick and poke at it all.
I think that we tried to do that, and when I say we tried to accommodate, even when there's decisions to be made, if there's a selectman absent, if it can hold for the next week to make that decision, we try to hold it to the next week to make it. If it cannot be held, we try to get the opinion of that selectman ahead of time, and what the input would be. And that's how we've tried to accommodate.
Always.
And that's what we've always done. At least I've done it in 6 years.
No, I
Just
think
want to
so.
make it very clear that had I been notified that the meeting was to go on in a timely basis, I would have been there. As far as I knew, there was no meeting happening that day, and I stayed at work. I was willing to leave work early and do all that. The only time I knew that there was actually a meeting in progress was when it was in progress.
Well,
That's-
I'm
that's
sure
where
we
we're at,
can
and I think we're-
we can fix that problem.
Well, I think,
Sure we can.
I think again that we should all make certain that Catherine Mosner knows exactly what method to get in touch with us is the best. Well, she knows it again.
All right, moving on. Everybody's seen the non-publics of 8:13 and 8:19? Okay. All right,
You guys signed them? You gonna make a motion to stop?
We've never done that before. Why would we
No,
now?
no, I don't have to ask what's up here.
Yeah.
I sign them, it actually indicates we do.
I did. Okay, it occurred to me last week that we have, now here it is September, and we tried to keep September open for the Vicky Virgin Annual Food Drive, and we've not done that. So, does anyone want to try for a weekend in October?
Sure.
I do have the Market Basket request, which we only can do it at Market Basket because they're not allowed at Hannaford, and we don't have a Shaw's, so,
What about our pals over at Walmart?
Oh, yeah, they have a market.
They have a market now.
we can check at Walmart. That'd be a good one.
They participate in
Well, they
community
did let us
things on some
go on,
levels.
right, they did let us go last year, though, didn't they?
I
think
was
they did.
at Market Basket, so I don't know.
I was at Market Basket, too. Well, October 4th is the first weekend. I think that may be too soon to get the corporate letter in unless you fax it over to them. 11th is the weekend of the Columbus weekend. Columbus Day is Monday, the 13th.
Now, what about that weekend now?
It's Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah, what about it?
I don't know, does it affect anyone? It doesn't,
I'll be at the sandwich fair all weekend.
It's
That
Sandwich
weekend?
Fair.
Yeah, I'm working
The 11th
at
and
the
12th
sandwich fair.
It's usually around Columbus
Well,
Day. Is that
I'm
right?
helping at the sandwich fair. My
so that
work,
leaves the
but
18th and the
doing it for years.
25th. So,
Well, you don't have to have it that late in the game just on my account. I can help behind the scenes or
I think that's fine.
moving things around or,
with the 18th, Cindy can't do it on the 18th with us, but if we have enough people, we can just go ahead and do it on that Saturday.
We do it Saturday, the 18th.
Is that all right?
What do we,
as far as I
I'm not
know,
familiar with
I got
the,
my phone.
What we do is we have posters, and we ask permission from Market Basket, and we'll ask permission for Walmart. And then we have people standing at each doorway with the carts, and we hand them out little papers saying to donate to the food pantry. And in honor of Vicky Virgin, because she started the first food pantry over here. So we thought it would be something annually that we would do to honor her spirit in community after she passed away. So we've done it, this will be the fourth year or the third? It's third or fourth year we've done it.
Good, for sure.
And they fill up the carriages for the food pantry. Now we have 2 food pantries in Tilton. Now we have one at the Catholic Church, and we have one at the Northfield Congregational, which is the one Vicky did,
Is it at the
So-
Assumption, or is that the one in
at
Franklin?
the Assumption. which we could easily split things up, but we have a,
So you need help on the
yeah, to stand out. we-
18th, or?
The 18th, it would be like from 8 to like 2-ish, around there, and then we just pack them in our vehicles and then distribute them right after that. And then we're
To the
done.
food pantry.
To the food pantry. Which,
We
last
dealt with
year,
the school system last year and had them bring it in, didn't we?
we didn't really collect a lot from the school system last year, though. There was very little.
Yeah, they have so many fundraising, and unless
Maybe-
you get a group to take it on as their
Yeah,
project, it doesn't happen.
Maybe we can distribute to people through the school system that we're having it.
We usually do pretty good at the markets.
Yeah.
We put a box out here, down here before in Town Hall.
usually we get carts, probably 4, 5,
Shopping
6
cart.
carts filled, and then we have canisters that we hold, and then they just fill it with money. If
I-
those that can't give, they
I
put
can
in a
help out.
dollar stuff.
I'm not sure if I have a meeting between 10 and 12, but I can help out around those other hours.
So even if you could give an hour,
Oh.
anybody's not expected to be there from till the end,
Makes for a
morning till
long
end.
day. I was out a lot
does
on the
make a-
first year.
Makes for a long day, so if we can break it up and just do an hour here, an hour
Yeah.
there, be great. Okay. So everybody's okay with the 18th?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and Joyce, you're up.
Joyce, do we know the birthday of our Boston Post cane recipient?
February 23rd?
I'd have to go look at the
February, I think.
It's on the application that,
I have no idea, because we talked about it back in June, so that on that birthday, we send a card acknowledging them, and I think
Yeah.
something should be on the website. Our
Yeah.
Boston Post
Yeah, I
cane
think that's a
recipient's
good deal.
birthday is, please join us in
Before Joyce starts.
wishing them a happy birthday.
No candles.
No candles,
Joe,
no candle fire.
Joyce, before
Before you start, we need to do like a moment of silence for 9/11.
Yes, I think so.
And we also didn't do anything for Old Home Day for the Boston Post cane recipient, did we? I think we forgot. What are you doing?
a moment of silence for the 9/11.
That's random.
Okay.
Ghosts. That's because we weren't saying anything, Captain.
All right.
Speaking of the moment of silence, the governor ordered flags at half-staff today. Is everybody aware that we have a flag on the island that's on a staff that cannot be lowered to half-mast?
Yes.
That shouldn't be there. Should not exist. If the flag cannot be lowered to half-mast, it should not be on a staff.
Can it be
Changed?
changed?
It can.
Sure, you can get one such as they have at Riverfront Park.
Metal? I can weld a pulley on the
have
top.
someone take responsibility for every day
Right.
raising and lowering it, and it would have to have a light on it. It should have a light on it.
Yeah, that's the other thing, there's no light on it.
Well, I was gonna say, we'll discuss that at the Selectmen's Park Commission meeting, but that's not a Park Commission thing.
Nope, that's Town of Tilton and Town of Northfield.
And to lower that flag, you have to completely take the flagpole out.
Yep. And then there's no way, because the flag is permanently mounted at the very top.
I think
Duct
maybe, probably we should take it down. I can take a look at it. I could probably attach a pulley to it and a rope so that if there is some event going on, they could bring it over and put it up. You know, if there's
I
a
like to
concert.
think that in a perfect world is going to be workable, but we live in a town where the kids steal toilet paper, all right, and rip the doors off hinges, and a flag that they can cut down just seemed, that's why we have it locked up at Riverfront. Sad to say. Sad to say. We could put a pulley on it and raise it just like old school, but does that really sound like the best idea?
Well, if it had a light on it, then you wouldn't have to raise it lower.
You would if it
No,
went
we
to
have put it at
half-mast.
Oh, yeah, for that, yes.
Yes.
I meant-
Now you're talking about a whole new pole, and probably a spendy pole, because I gotta just imagine it would be.
No,
The one in,
You just have to have a locking box.
We'd have to have a locking box, and it has to be set in place in a spot where you can't rightly use a crane.
Would you take it as?
well, I think I don't know if the one in Riverfront Park is electric or not, that raises and lowers, but I know they have ones where the lanyard is inside, so you unlock the door.
Riverfront Park, you unlock the door and
And
you
you
just,
reach in and you pull it up and down, but, I mean, and it's a wide pole, but I don't know. I just know that this one needs to be removed until we come up with something else. Because all year, we've had incidences where the flag should be raised and, should be lowered. And there it sits.
Well, in the meantime, do you want me to have Dennis have his guys remove the pole, and then we'll get prices on flagpoles?
I think we need to talk to
contact
Northfield.
before we remove it.
You know,
but
Al,
I would let them know what the issue is, and I would vote to remove it until we do something better.
and we'll see what they think.
Remove the flag immediately.
Remove it completely. He'll have to cap the sleeve that it's in so no one steps in it, but
I'm iffy with removing the flag, but I understand your concern. We should ask the Northfield Selectmen what they think they want to do.
Al got a really nice flagpole this year, right?
2 years ago?
3 years ago.
Got a what?
Well, you're
A
gonna
really
be
nice
meeting with
flagpole,
them on the
telescopic
23rd at
Yeah.
it shouldn't
6:30.
wait. It should
under
come down.
$300.
It is, if there were flag laws instead of flag etiquette, it's illegal.
That sounds like a,
It's not right.
Does the
well, I've
board
seen
want
it
to
at a
have
distance.
Dennis
I've
take
seen
it
your
down?
pole.
Not until you talk to Northfield.
Light that goes
Well, their
on
board
top,
won't be
that's
meeting.
solar.
I make a
until-
motion that we talk to Northfield about removing the flag and the flagpole and coming up with the solution to replace it with a adjustable flag.
Second, how about a legal flag?
Right. So that we can put it at half-mast.
Is it discussion time again?
Yes, discussion. Motion's been made and seconded.
It's something that they certainly could, you could call Glenn, and if he wants to get a consensus from them before they meet,
Can you put a solar light on top?
yes.
Sure we can, yeah.
You know, one of those
We could.
solar lights with the little
So-
solar panel?
That's what Al said he's got on his.
Oh, do
But
you?
that's
that
an
lights- and then
excellent
you just
idea,
have to
but we
worry-
would have to lock it in the ground somewhere, because in a park, that's what they're taking, is solar lights,
How you put it on the top.
It's on the top of the
Mine's on
pole.
top.
way at the top.
Mine was on top, it was like this.
There you go. That'd be
It's
perfect.
bright.
The only thing we'd have to worry about is the half-mast.
Yep.
It would still shine on it, probably half-mast, but I think that would be excellent. The only thing would be, we would be in trouble if we had 4 or 5 days of rainy weather and solar wouldn't work. But that still would...
Nobody would be out to see it.
Right.
That's a chance you take.
They
Speaking
get covered with snow.
Speaking
Go
of the
figure.
island, there was quite a party there last night.
What's there?
Yes.
Anybody we know? I didn't get an invite.
I didn't either. But they were going in with big cakes and
Yeah.
this huge...
They didn't actually
I know, there was nothing on the book schedule.
make arrangements, but there's nothing to say they can't.
No, there's nothing. I mean, it was fine. Okay, what you got for us, Joyce?
All right, well, so right now, get the birthday of the Boston Post cane person, put him on our birthday card list. I do know that Glenn is off all of next week, but I can just email the selectmen directly and ask them. Okay, first of all, I'm going to have, on the highway department hiring, I'd like to do that in non-public session. And then in legal, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cases to talk about that are currently being litigated,
In non-public?
non-public.
Okay, so give us the public ones first, and then we'll go into non-public, because really, we just have you and the selectmen's reports.
Okay. I got a letter from the Lakes Region Planning Commission saying that according to their records, that Joe Jessamine appointment to the Planning Commission expires on November 18th. So they,
Hallelujah!
so we need the board to send a letter to Lakes Region Planning Commission telling who you want to appoint for another 4-year term.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Joe Jessamine to the Lakes Region Planning Commission if he so desires to be the candidate.
He just said hallelujah.
Did somebody second it?
I second it.
Okay, under discussion, I think that we should give everybody the chance to say if they want to do this. Now, I have 3 years' experience with it, but it seems like the meetings recently have fallen when I had very specific town things to do, unfortunately. Whenever I can work it out, my first duty is to the town. And that includes representing us properly at the Planning Commission, which I can't always do. Tuesday, we had a RCC meeting. That's a Regional Coordinating Council, which coordinates all the volunteer ride programs and the short buses that go senior transit, disabled transit, and they get the 5103C
3.
grants and whatever, 5301, 5103, 50-something. It's 5301, John. And they get these grants to fund, but I'm the Tilton representative and had to be at the polls. So it kind of is what it is sometimes. So is there anybody else that wants a shot? Because I'll continue to do what I've been doing to the best of my ability.
Do they allow substitutes if you can't?
Alternates?
He can have an alternate, can't he?
I'd have to have my board appointment.
You could, but it's really difficult
If you can't make it?
if you
don't know what's
can't,
going
if
on.
you don't know what's going on when you get there. You could come back and say, yep, they said this and that, and they have minutes, which I read, but it's not the same as being there and having, quite frankly, the opportunity to have a voice, which is why I go to these things on behalf of Tilton, so Tilton has a voice in the conversation. Broadband, the master plan, I sat on the Lakes Region Master Plan Committee, amongst other things. So we have a voice at the table. I just can't always be there. So maybe if there's somebody else available on days I can't be or whatever, we can work that out.
When do they usually meet?
There's no, each of the things, being on the Planning Commission is going to the dinner once a year. And some guys do just that. But it's also being on the Master Plan Committee and the RCC and things like that. So it's lots of different meetings at lots of different times. Sometimes they don't meet every month because there's nothing new to discuss until November, that kind of thing. So it's hard to say. But if I can't make a meeting, Joyce, I totally about relaying that information to you and for whatever good that will do.
All right.
And that's the end of my discussion.
I think you've been doing a fine job, and you continue doing it, would be appreciated.
I'm booked with alternate for budget in other meetings between senior.
It's tough to get around sometimes and
I
be
know it
in
is.
several places at once.
So I'm fine. I really,
Okay, I'll call
Welcome
the
to
question.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'll abstain.
Aye, yay.
Okay, we also need to have the board appoint their representative to the Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid Association.
I thought that we did that
We did.
right after Brad left, and we appointed Tim Joubert.
We did.
You did.
We did appoint him. We appointed him.
Yeah.
Is that
That was
appointment
official.
in perpetuity?
Right,
Yeah.
until we so say no. We did that.
All right, so you want to keep Tim as the, because he didn't
Yeah.
have, their records were still showing that it was Brad Ober.
What does that position do specifically?
He attends the meetings and
Attends the meetings and
represents us, isn't it?
represents the town of Tilton, not the fire department, the town of Tilton.
Isn't that kind of a conflict of interest for Tim?
Not really, because you don't live in town.
No, Northfields is
But he's a
Wayne
fire
Crowley.
department guy.
It was
But you
Steve
need a
Bloom, and now
fire
it's
department guy
Wayne
doing it.
Crowley.
We can make it one of the selectmen if you
Yeah,
want more to do.
No! I go to the fire commission meetings when I can. I find them
Fire
informed.
commission meeting.
What is it?
Their board is,
Lakes
Is Lake
Region
Region-
Oh,
Mutual.
mutual aid. Mutual aid.
their board,
Never
their
mind. I
board
know
is
what we're
like the
talking about now.
legislative body. Their board is the legislative body. They adopt the budget.
Yeah. Dispatch, stuff like that.
Right.
Yep.
So,
No, Tim Joubert's done a good job for us, I think.
I'm so
And I was
familiar
thinking about something totally different.
right. I'm
Okay.
I'm in favor of keeping it as Tim.
Me too.
Does
If
he
he's
know
willing.
that that's, does he know that he's the one?
I don't
'Cause
know,
we
I'll have to go back and look at the minutes.
No, you should call him and
Because
find
if
out,
Lakes
hey,
Region
Tim.
Mutual Aid doesn't know, and then that means he's not attending.
Well, the paperwork obviously didn't get everywhere it was
Well, the
supposed to
budget,
go.
their budget was adopted last November, so when he would have attended would have been in November.
No, they have monthly meetings, don't they?
Yeah, they have monthly
They have
meetings.
monthly meetings.
Well,
yes.
budget's once a year, but
Yeah, no,
we should
okay.
call Tim and make sure that he's on board
We
with this.
did when we asked him.
Yeah.
And then he is indeed going.
He
No,
know,
months ago when it
yeah,
was
we
months
appointed
ago.
him, and he knew about it.
He knew about it.
That was plain and
Well, we
simple.
asked him before we appointed.
That's
Right.
right.
All right, well,
How
He was
come
willing to
we
take it on.
have
to
we
follow
got
that
any
up with the letter.
reports from our representative?
Nope.
We need to talk to this guy, because I would love to hear what the process is for spending $500,000 worth of our money up there,
Well, maybe he'd come in and talk to us.
as our representative.
and you want to invite him in?
I would love to invite him, and he's a nice guy, too.
He's a real nice guy. Very highly intelligent, too.
Ooh,
No, I never talked to
This
him
is
that
not
long to
good.
find out, but he seems very nice.
this email from
Very intelligent.
Chuck Mitchell.
Outstanding.
About what?
The right hand does not seem to know what the left hand is doing. We did give Corderi a list of what we wanted for plantings. Here is another. If you, Corderi, and Rip all want another vote by the TCC to approve the list, we can do that. So they already gave a list of the plantings.
He did, and they sent back comments, which the Conservation Commission had. So Crederi was waiting for them to tell him what the list was. I sent Crederi copies of all the Conservation Commission minutes.
All right, it's in your, just came in, just now. And he also goes on to say with regards to the berm,
Yeah,
we voted against it once, we realized how horrible it would look. We did vote for a split rail fence, and now the New Hampshire DOT is giving us a bunch of da-da-da, just because we won the battle over putting in a crosslight. We will gladly go back to a split rail fence, do not think that the TCC would ever go back to a berm, think we'd go without anything compared to the berm. We need to know just what the state will accept other than a berm, and we need to know this prior to our meeting this coming Monday night. Who can get us this information? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Let's stay in touch day to day. This has gone on way too long. I agree.
the last communication that I had with Rip was based on the minutes of the August 11th meeting, or whatever the date was, that they changed from a split rail to guardrail. That's what Rip has on his plan, and what Rip is going to have before their meeting on Friday, saying, this is based on your minutes and the
Yeah.
decisions of the Conservation Commission. This is where we stand.
I have forwarded to the Board of Selectmen, Joyce, and the Conservation Commission, and I gave Conservation Commission top billing on that forwarding, every communication I've had with Bill Rollins
Yeah.
on this whole berm, split
Yeah.
rail, guardrail issue. So I don't know why he thinks,
I don't know why he thinks we're going back to a berm.
well, the issue is, if they want to go forward with their guardrail fence, it's going to be, I believe the last one was at 14 feet?
14 feet from the side,
From the edge of pavement.
Which-
That's well onto town property.
which also makes 14 feet where the brook
Parking.
cuts through.
Yeah. And
That would not
that's
exist.
14 feet of parking space along there.
Oh,
And I know they won't let us put in parking spaces, so why would they promote parking spaces?
Well-
Because that's what they're doing.
The issue here is, the fence should not be relevant to getting the driveway permit.
You don't even need a fence. You
So
just
if
get
we're
the
going
permit
to
for the
win this
driveway.
game with New Hampshire DOT, let's not even have a plan with them for any fencing.
Just get.
I mean,
And-
after all,
Right,
we're
just get
well
the
within our
permit.
rights to put up any fence we want on our property.
And I discussed it a
As long
little
as
bit
it's
with
out the
Chuck.
right-of-way.
It wasn't a consensus of the whole Conservation Commission, but he felt the same way. Let's get the thing going,
Worry
and
about
after it's
fencing
done, we
later.
can install something.
That's right.
Get the what they call them, delineators in there, which will block the
Yeah.
parking, and then everything else will start to grow, and we can install whatever later. Because if we put a fence in 14 feet, like you said, it's going to look like a parking lot,
Yep.
and people start parking.
And then-
If we put the delineators out there and seed it and do it,
Yep.
it will look like you're not supposed to, and
Okay, the only,
Just
the
go.
Then we
only,
don't need to know what they want us to put
just say
there.
nothing.
And I
right,
did email them what is considered hazardous roadside objects, and I think I sent that to everybody, didn't I? Mm-hmm. It may have come from
Yes,
Tasmania,
I
but
got it. Yep.
it's basically the same worldwide.
You
It
know-
was just the best written one.
what
Australia.
Rip would like to do is, he'll have a plan ready for the commission to look at Monday night. They have to decide whatever they want to put in there. It will help Rip because he can get estimates on it. You may find that it's going to cost a gazillion dollars to do whatever it is you're going to do, so that may be something that may have to be delayed to a future date. But he said any information that the Conservation Commission can give him, he can go and get estimates on
Are you talking about fence or planting?
fence.
Fence needs to stay out of the equation.
Okay, well,
Right.
I think that the Conservation Commission, you're going to go on
I'm
Monday,
going on Monday.
to decide that and make it definitive so we can relay that information to them.
I'm going on Monday.
I like the idea of the
I'll be late. What time do they start? At 7?
6:30.
Tiger Lily
6:30? It may,
things.
my
Don't commit to
prior
anything.
commitment may
What
take
time
too
does
long.
conservation start?
7.
7.
7.
You can do whatever you want.
Yep.
7, Joyce.
You know what I mean? You don't have to ask.
10 years from now,
I don't
somebody,
have to ask DOT if I want to put a hedge along my lawn.
Okay, Fairpoint assures me, and PSNA assures me that on Monday, the poles and wires will be removed.
The trees are down.
They cut the trees.
The trees are cut?
Esplin was in there.
Yep.
nice.
Okay,
However, there's one heck of a stump.
That's on our property though, right? Yeah,
That big dead tree.
yeah. I could push it down with my tractor, I
Yes,
bet.
you can.
okay, and then
Too big to
the-
pull out with a loader?
The other issue is I sent to Glenn Smith today, after I spoke with Rip, the original plan that was sent to DOT back when it was a berm, and explained to him that I won't have a final plan until after Monday. But as far as Tom Jameson's concerned, that there be an opening from the end of the trail onto Route 3 and 11, that the revised plan, that our engineers know to keep that open. And then I also asked Glenn that if DOT is going to require a bollard or a gate, that it be at the property line, because they don't want, the feds don't want anybody driving on their trail. We have one now that's off of Morrison Ave where the trail comes up on Mayor's property, so that when this trail is extended, that Mayor's right-of-way will be discontinued, so they can just move it right down there. And I think that there'll be enough of activity right across here that people aren't going to drive a car down the trail, because there's a parking lot and a way to get in right there.
And we can
Common
block
sense.
off that end of that part of the parking lot,
Plus the
can't we?
kiosk will be down there.
Yeah. No, it has to be open 2, 3, and 11. The trail does not
I
go into the
understand that, but around the parking lot itself, which
Yep.
is inside, completely contained,
Yes,
we could
yeah.
have barriers to keep them from driving across the grass, out onto the
Yes,
trail, whatever.
There's boulders there.
Boulders, there you go.
Is what they want is so that if they needed emergency access to get down there with an ambulance or something, that they could come
Yes.
into that parking lot and go down?
No, they could drive on the trail and go down.
But to get to the trail?
They'd have to go through the parking lot to get to the trail, right?
If it was that much of an emergency, they would probably, like an ambulance, yes, because the fire department has a key to the gate, so they can open the gate and go in.
So when they construct the parking lot, there has to be enough of an opening somewhere so they could get from that parking lot to the gate, or just unobstructed?
Well, you'd
Might
be
not be a
driving,
gate, though.
yeah,
Might not be.
and you'd be driving over grass.
They might not be,
That's
they
fine.
might not require a gate. Because they said that at the meeting that we had out there, they said that there's no need for any type of delineation to the egress on the trail itself, such as a gate. That's when Tom Jameson said, by where Sullivan's is, where the track goes, you mean right there with the gate? Because he had
Right
said,
here.
yeah, out on
Yeah.
Route 3, right?
No, not at Route 3.
Oh, way on by
No,
the track,
down here,
the
by
trail
the track,
part.
by the trail.
Okay. Yeah, that's the
So I asked Glenn to check with Tom Jameson on that. So we're not holding up the TE grant to build this part of the trail.
That trail's not wide enough to get an ambulance down. They'd have to use the alligator from the gator from fire department. You're not gonna drive an ambulance on that trail.
They can.
Might be close.
Down by the river?
Not our ambulance.
Oh, yeah, on our
It's
part,
pretty narrow.
no, on our portion of the trail we can. Once this is constructed, yeah,
Down by the tracks?
yeah. Have
Guess
you
I
been
better go
down
take a
there?
look at that, because it's pretty narrow.
Well, it
I've
is,
been by it a million times on my sled, so
you can't pass, but,
no, I'm talking about,
no, I've walked that trail. I'm
Basically,
guessing that you could probably get an ambulance down there. Like a van
They
ambulance.
drove their construction vehicles down there to do it. 2 tons went down.
So
Probably be.
it's important that on Monday night that the Conservation Commission finalize what they want so that they can go get the estimates and they can start.
One of the things that, when the project starts, to coordinate it, that we don't put the delineator stakes in until after the parking lot's built,
Right.
so that people, they can still park on the Salmon Run west section. Be all. And then after that, we'll put the delineators in of the parking lot. It's easier to train them to,
And the other thing that Rip said is that, because I told him that we weren't able to get the full 600 cubic yards of soil, we only got 288 cubic yards of the loam, and I said, in the minutes, it sounded like that the Conservation Commission wanted to use that loam. So he said, fine, if the Conservation Commission wants to use the loam, he'll still go ahead and bid out through the Ernie's grant for the loam. And we can charge that off because we have to have a staging area for all the materials. So the fact that we're using that staging area.
I thought we were using the loam.
Conservation Commission said that it's okay for them to use, but they wanted some left over to spread on that one section
But we
on
only have 288.
the Ernie's, a little bit on there.
Yeah, but there's not enough for both
It's not-
projects.
Right.
No,
That's
it's just
the
a
thing,
starter.
right?
Just to build up low areas, I guess.
Right, so that's Ernie's, we talked about. Caleb Hill Road, when I spoke to CR at the beginning of the meeting, 10:30 in the morning on Friday. Because I want to go, and Dennis, and you said you can't go in the afternoon.
She needs
I'm gonna
to,
You
be
can't go in the
dirty.
morning.
If nobody minds, I'm gonna be quite filthy, but I'll go.
Well, I just have to make sure I get back in
she
time for
wanted it
lunches.
first thing in the morning, that's what Catherine wanted.
Okay, I'm sorry
So
to hear that. I heard
10:30?
not in the afternoon is what I heard.
No, we said 8 o'clock in the morning.
So now it's 8 AM?
No, I can call him
10:30?
back. I
No,
can
it's
call
all
him
right.
back. He said anytime.
Caleb Hill Road?
Pat, I did not hear that, honest.
Where are we meeting?
Same place. March and Caleb. Intersection of March and Caleb. I can call him back. I
Up
mean,
on the top
earlier
of the
would be
hill by
better for
Chuck's?
me. Pardon me?
Up by Chuck's?
Yep.
No, that's fine. I can do it. I'm just gonna be in the middle of fencing. I'll just stop and you're gonna get me the way I am and it ain't gonna be pretty, I can tell you.
Bring your
If I
sword.
have an odor, I'll stand.
Okay, so
Downwind.
you want me to come pick you up?
I gotta bring my tractor down to get diesel in it anyway,
You're gonna come in your tractor?
probably.
All right, but then you're going to drive up?
Yeah.
Okay. In the town car, not in the tractor?
I've been to Concord
kills
back in my tractor. My tractor and I go lots of places together. I like to drive it down and fill it up with diesel so I don't have to deal with water in my
I
tank
have to
from the
check
gas
with
cans.
Dennis. I know he was, actually, this worked out better for him
But I
today
have my
because he
rototiller, so if
was
anybody
paving
needs
today.
any tilling.
Oh, on the way you rip up some lawns?
Okay, so next Tuesday, September 23rd at
This Chuck might
6:30
want
PM,
the garden done.
the board's going to be discussing the Cannon Bridge bid.
When are we meeting with them?
6:30, Tuesday, September 23rd, in Northfield.
They couldn't come to ours?
No,
I think it was a
and
timing
we
thing.
couldn't go to theirs on the, because we have our right to know, we had elections and we had right to know.
You know, in
Is that
6
planning
years'
board
time,
night?
in 6 years' time, John, that I've been a selectman, there's only been once that they've been able to accommodate us over here.
At that one time I was here?
Just once.
Just this here?
Over the bridge issue.
Right. They
I
said-
missed that.
See,
They-
I thought it
Is that
was always...
planning
They
board?
said,
Always
I
us
don't know,
going
they
there.
said that because they're
September
a three-member
23rd.
board, and they had to try and accommodate Kevin Waldron, because he said if you have any meetings, having him the beginning of the week, because he travels out of state at
We're
the
a
end of the week.
five-member board.
September 23rd at
And
6:30?
we said,
Hey, I'm all over it. I'll be there.
we said
I
we
can do
couldn't
it.
go on the 9th, and we couldn't go on the following week, the
Yeah.
following two Tuesdays.
Got it covered.
So the
gonna
next
be
one is the
close, though.
23rd.
Tuesday, I teach class until 6. So I got a half hour to
I think
get there.
that's,
I
I
can-
hope it's not the fourth
What?
Tuesday, but I think
It
it
is.
is. It's planning board night. Hopefully there's nothing on.
Yeah,
It's always something.
it's planning board night.
Yeah,
I
they
know, but
continued
hopefully-
that. That was great research that you did. And all the notices of decisions.
Oh, it's like, which one?
Yeah.
Thank you. It took a few minutes,
All
but
right, next.
I'm on for that, in case I didn't,
Okay.
you know.
The next thing.
Notice it as a meeting so that we can make a decision.
Where, in Northfield?
Yeah, the Northfield one, notice
Yeah,
it as
we'll
a
notice it
selectmen's
as
meeting.
For that part of it, it's a joint meeting.
It's in Tilton Town,
Northfield Town
Northfield
Hall.
Town Hall, the
Yeah.
Grange Home.
Last week, I met with our health trust representative. It was a very interesting meeting. I tried to get John and Tim there. Tim had an emergency, and then, I don't know, I thought we had set it up for that day at 1:30, because that's why I made it a Friday at 1:30.
Yeah,
You said you couldn't come.
I think I had, I didn't put in for the time off.
Okay, but what I can suggest is before they have their rates set, they have to have a public hearing. And I don't know the date yet or the time, but it's in the evening after 5, and it's in Concord. So I would like to go to that, because there's still so much
Still no.
uncertainty with the Affordable Care Act, and just industry-wide, what's happening here in New Hampshire for health insurance. So I had suggested to them that I would plan to go and see if you could go,
Yeah.
because they'll explain how, the whole rate-setting process, what's happening with the healthcare, and I think it would be,
Yeah, I'd like to.
okay.
I
so
don't know
will
if
let
I'll
you
ever
know.
understand
I mean,
it,
all of
but-
you are invited to go, but, So in the meantime, I did contact School Care, and I made arrangements to give them a census so they can give us a quotation on health and dental. And there's also, the last time we did this was in 2011 for the 2012 budget year. And that's when we, back when Primex had offered health and dental insurance through Harvard Pilgrim. And then they have since discontinued that service. But there is now a new group that started in 2012 called New Hampshire Interlocal Trust. It is a trust, set up as a trust underneath the laws of New Hampshire, and they have taken over the Harvard Pilgrim. So they have a workshop on Thursday, September 18th, that I'm going to plan to go to. It's a selectmen's meeting day. And then I'm sending them our census information to have them give us a quote. The only problem we found with Harvard Pilgrim is that their provider network isn't as extensive
Up here?
as it's great in the southern part of the state. And that's one of the reasons why when we recommended to the board back then to stay with Health Trust is that it's, people would have to travel to stay in network.
Does that mean they typically can find their doctor within their providers, but with the other one they can't? When you say provider, you're talking about their
Their healthcare provider.
doctor? Yeah,
They have to be in network.
yes, yeah. That's the problem with a lot of them.
But the other problem is that Anthem is the state of New Hampshire.
It's almost a monopoly.
It is.
It's like Ma Bell was.
The other thing that I learned, and I'm going to verify this with Anthem, because back then in 2011, we also contacted Anthem to say if we could quote directly, and they said they couldn't because it isn't comparable, because our claims experience is pooled. Back then, it was pooled with other health trust communities of 100 or fewer employees, and Anthem would have to pool us on our own. So they couldn't really, they're just like, don't even,
Don't ask, you don't want to hear.
don't
my
ask.
answer.
But our health trust representative did say that Anthem is trying to move away from the HMOs. I don't know if you remember back in, when
Make
was
you
it?
wanna
When they
be
used to
sick
have
all
the
the time. Get
JYs,
your
and
money
it was
back.
a big push to get everybody on the HMOs. It's like 2007, because I know I was in Northfield at the time. And so all of a sudden, it's like, everybody's got to go on an HMO now, because that's the only thing that Anthem's providing. And people had to get used to that. They'd have to have a primary care provider, and they'd have to get a referral for everything. Now Anthem is going to make their standard plan, their base plan, the site of service plan, which is a copay and a deductible, which is what we've been trying to encourage our employees to move over to by offering them, you don't pay any premium, and we'll give you a little bit towards your deductible, but, you've got to start making some health care decisions yourself. And we just haven't been that fortunate in having anybody subscribe to that other than retirees and part-time employees, because it's affordable. So I thought that was interesting, but I want to verify that with Anthem. So, so when I set up any meetings with this, I'll let the board know, so if any board members are available.
Typically, when is open enrollment? October,
No, open enrollment begins December 1st.
December 1st?
So we would have to make a decision prior to December 1st. For budgeting purposes, the sooner we can make a decision, the better, but I won't have any rates until probably, usually around the 20th, I think. Third week of October, Health Trust gets their rates, and it'll take a while to get the census information back on these.
I was thinking, in October, it might be a good time to send out something to all the employees to let them know about our health care buyout plan, because you want them to ask all the questions and know about it prior to their spouses or families signing up for their open enrollment. And some companies start
October, summer, November 1st.
Yeah,
November, so
I
if we get it
I
out,
send information out in November.
you might want to wait or actually do it the first week of October, so that they have plenty of time to think about it.
Okay,
And
but I'd have
discuss
to
with their
put in
spouse.
there that, but we don't know what the plans are going to be yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Plan in offerings.
Right.
So just to let
You
them
wouldn't be
know.
able to, just to let them know that they have
This
that
is an option.
opportunity to do that.
And the date that we'll get ours. And
Right. You're just giving them a heads up as it's available.
what is the amount on that now?
3,000, 1,500,
1,500,
and
3,000,
3,000 and 5,000 for family.
5,000 with the family.
Family, right.
And both Health Trust said that those amounts are very rich compared to other municipalities.
And we're still not getting many, so we don't need to raise it. We're
Right.
on or
Well, we
above the mark.
thought, we went through that last year and researched it, and they said that Health Trust had advised us not to do that because it was very rich from what they gathered from other communities. And we decided not to do that because there wasn't that many people that would, if you look at the demographics of the people that have family as opposed to a two-person, would that be enough incentive to jump out of it? And it wouldn't. Looking at it, because they're young and just starting out and stuff. They wouldn't do
Well,
it.
2 employees that we have that have opted out, they've opted out for a spouse's plan that was the same as ours, same benefits. So and they were municipalities or school districts.
Yeah.
So, this had been in your folder last week, or a couple weeks it's been in there, and Cindy wants the board to take action on it, to vote to, because the Board of Selectmen sets the fees that aren't already set by statute. This is for sending out the intents, the alteration of terrains. Seeing that? And I don't know if the board had an opportunity to discuss it. It was in your FYI. It's been in there for
Oh, the FYI.
a couple weeks.
I haven't seen it. I always look at the FYI ahead of time, but I didn't see that.
It would have come in when I
I've
was on
seen-
vacation. But, so I put another one in there for this week.
Does the board want more time to think about it, or do you want to read Cindy's?
I want to read it,
Okay.
please.
Decide another week.
So we'll take it up next week.
Okay. And the other thing, Tim and I went over the proposed budget schedule. Then you all should have a copy in his finance budget report. And he is making some recommendations. So if you want to review that schedule and see if that works.
Say that again, Joyce?
The thing Tim gave us,
The thing that Tim gave you.
Yeah.
to go over the schedule on the back of it. The budget guidelines.
So I'll have to send out notices to all the department heads. And, like Conservation Commission and all that, so. But today's the 11th.
So you're putting these on other dates other than Thursdays? You have October 7th is a Tuesday.
Right, that's because the board isn't meeting on Thursday. Like, I can do the land use and the zoning budget in time for the 25th. And Concom is meeting Monday, but do they have time to work on their budget Monday night?
On their budget?
Oh,
When did-
on their
oh, I'm
agenda.
sorry, when did you need it?
Well, according to this, do it the 25th, Thursday, the 25th.
I think so. There's,
All right, I'll send something to Eliza and see, if the Concom can meet that deadline.
So are you expecting us to work on the budget during the regular selectmen's meeting?
Pleasant presentation, yeah, because it would be difficult to have work sessions during the day that everyone can attend. Because Al works, Catherine works, John works.
So let's have it at night and a different night. Otherwise, at a selectmen's meeting, we're not going to do anything else. Anybody wants to come in, no selectmen's reports, no reports from you, nothing. Because budgeting by itself is at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
So why not
At least.
schedule it on another night?
If you can schedule on a night like at 4:30 to,
6:30.
yeah, something like that, I'll go.
Right. 4:30 to
Sleep slow and,
maybe 6.
It's going to be difficult to do it on selectmen meeting nights.
I don't want to stay here till.
And to do the town's business properly for, if it was once, yeah, maybe, but we're talking about a 10.
Yeah. Ain't gonna work.
It is what it is. That's what we did in the past. If we
We've
had
tried to
separate-
do it in the past, and we can't do it. We've always come in at, either 1 o'clock.
Yeah, 1 in the afternoon.
And
Well,
Well,
in the
budget
interest
is-
of everybody attending, it should be evenings, I'm sure.
Did you attend Budget Committee last night?
Yeah.
So when is their deadline for budgets due?
They didn't give an actual deadline for budgets due. For outside departments, it's going to be October 7th, I believe, is when October 1st.
Oh.
And then their October 8th meeting, they've already scheduled people that want to come in.
Now, are you still doing joint?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be a night, so that's 2 nights meeting, at least.
So why don't we pick Monday nights?
Let's see, sewer is up here the 4th Thursday? 4th Monday of each
Third
month?
Tuesday.
Third
They're here, they're on Tuesdays.
Okay, and Parks
Third.
Commission?
They're meeting every other week, Monday night. So we met this week, it'll be 2 weeks.
So we could have upstairs,
Conservation
right?
Commission
Yep.
is Monday nights.
Third Monday.
Third.
And Conservation is, they meet downstairs, though, so
Yeah.
you could do Monday nights.
Yeah, but John's on the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
Well, that would be one
Yeah,
night
so-
that we couldn't,
Well,
if we could do
I
3
can
nights.
skip a Conservation Commission meeting, no, there's enough alternates.
My Monday night obligation will be over on, the last class will be Monday the 6th.
So why don't we start in, instead of the,
Do the second Monday.
starting the 13th, we'll go the 13th, the 20th, 27th, until we get it done.
Okay.
And then that would mean that we would get the budget to the Budget Committee a little bit later than the 12th.
October 13th?
No, yes, October 13th, the 20th, the 27th, the Monday nights.
No problem with Columbus Day with anybody, or?
That would be the 13th, by golly.
You have that day off, employees. Yeah.
Oh, lo and behold.
What's the
Love Mondays.
13th?
I might
Columbus
be
Day.
whipped. I may or may not make that one, because the
Guy
10th,
that says
11th,
he
and 12th,
discovered
and
America.
13th, I'll be
Liar.
putting in
Catherine, is that
12 hours
a holiday?
That guy?
Yeah.
Town hall, right?
He used to wear black armbands.
Our Indians and Norwegians and everybody else here before him.
He was Italian, by the way. Just want you to know
thought he was
that.
I want to hear
Spanish.
what I think about him.
All right, just so you know
Not
that.
good.
Spanish. He's not a Portuguese.
Now,
didn't
he
know
was
he was
Italian, but there was
Italian.
a Portuguese court that supported his
That's right. He
exploration.
was Italian, he was from Italy.
The Spaniards don't
Okay.
know way.
So, the 13th, Joyce, are you okay with that? If it's in the evening?
Yeah. I can leave early in the morning and be back.
Okay.
In fact, that would be great, because then if I had to take some time off, another day,
Right, you could do
What
that.
time?
I'm gonna have an electric stove
4:30.
put in for the dog.
What time are we coming in on those nights?
4:30 to 6:30? And then you still could attend your
Where did I write them?
Concom.
That would be perfect.
4:30 to 6:30, everyone? Is that all right with everyone?
Yep, I'll probably be here by 4:45, but that's fine.
All right, so just to review, October 13th, 20th, and 27th will be Selectmen's Budget Workshops. And then starting with where it says Department Head Budget Review, TCTC on the 18th, we're going to move that all down. So during the month of October, the Selectmen are going to have meetings on Monday nights. Some will have meetings on Tuesday nights. You'll have budget on Wednesday nights for the outside agencies, and then you'll have your Selectmen's meeting on
On
Thursday.
Thursdays in October. Yep.
What
Well,
were
they
the
haven't
dates? You got the
scheduled the outside
13th, the 20th,
agencies
and the
yet, right?
27th?
Well, you follow the budget committee's
Right,
meetings.
they
yeah.
haven't scheduled them, right?
No, Joanna just sent out the letters.
Okay, so it'll be coming in November.
Right.
Okay.
We already got some from, I believe it was Genesis, CASA, and, last year Genesis wanted 8,000. This year they want 10.
Okay, and probably what would be helpful for the board
American
Is-
Red Cross.
is if we got everything to you before those meetings, so that you have a chance to look at it before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, and then the other question is on we established the schedule, budget guidelines. Did you want to talk about that now, or do you want to put that on the agenda for the 18th?
What are budget guidelines?
Well, we want to level fund it.
Level fund?
We don't want them going over any, right? That's a guideline, the departments.
Oh,
We want to do the same, and
I think some of the departments put things in there, one-time events. We need to look back at that to see,
Yeah.
if they had like a special purchase that was put in there just for that year. We gotta go back.
Right.
Not,
what do you mean?
okay, let's say, level fund from actual spend, or level fund from what they budgeted last year.
What they budgeted from last year.
Okay, sometimes in some of those budgets, let's say the zoo department decided they're gonna put new cages in,
Yeah, I get
and they
that.
added to that budget
Yeah.
last year, so we'd have to go back to what we were running the zoo at without the
I'm
new
just trying to
cages.
think in terms of what would have been a one-time event in our, either highway or PD.
Well, this year, we had some IT expenses, but he's been able to keep it within his budget, but he's moving things out to next year.
Right, so that would be reoccurring, but it would be the same, a budget is budget replacing and
Yep.
and repairing and so on.
Yep.
So that would still be reoccurring, but like if he had to buy a lawnmower, then that would, right.
I don't, I
Is that what you
can't
mean?
remember, we'll have to think
Lord knows
about
that
that.
happens.
Put the
I'd like to
thinking
see
caps
the
on.
department
Yeah,
head not
well,
increase
they're gonna
their
have to
budget from
justify to
last year.
me every
I'll
piece
certainly
of
be looking at what
equipment
they
that they
actually
want.
spent and trying to hit that goal.
That's not what I meant.
Things like retirement and things like,
And the whole thing is,
So why don't we, instead of looking at it, but instead of,
IT, we need the equipment we need, but for them to, the departments themselves, police department should be level funded or under.
well, Catherine raised a point here that perhaps maybe we should be looking at what, instead of level funding from what was budgeted last year, level fund from what was spent this year.
But that's for us to do.
That's for us.
What we're asking of our department heads is give us a level
Right.
level budget from
I'd like
the
to see
budget
them
last
come in
year, and we'd like to
underneath.
see the same
They
thing.
don't have to pay
Yeah,
for
give us something that we
IT
can cut.
issues.
That, yeah, thank you.
Well, the IT
Perfectly said.
department,
Give us something
even though
we
they don't
can
have to
cut.
pay for IT issues, we still have to have the IT department come in level funded too.
Or less,
May or
because
may
we
not be
didn't buy servers
possible.
and...
Well, he's a department, so we're asking all
Yeah.
departments.
Depends on, he needs to justify the equipment he wants
Right.
to buy, but I understand that equipment
Oh, it's
needs,
great.
software is licensed, equipment
And things are,
gets out of date, you can't get parts
Right.
for it. We've got issues inside the police department with regard to the lines and the wiring, and those have to be addressed.
They do.
yeah, but those are things that we will address, the Board of Selectmen. The question here is, what do we want our department heads to do?
And I'm level
say-
funded or less.
Send us a budget that's level funded, and then we'll do whatever we want with it.
I really think
That's the sad
that
fair.
when they make their budgets, that they should be encouraged to start at zero. Not what you got last year. Start at zero. What does it take to run the department for them to seriously go back to the beginning? What it's really going to cost. Not look at what we spent last year, what we got. We'll take that and we'll use that. What do you need? What does your heat cost? What does all these things cost? And then come up with a number and in no way exceed what we had before.
Interesting.
But zero budgeting is the way to go. Every year, people should look at,
Look at it
Well,
from
I
zero.
have found
From
over the
zero and add
course of
up.
this process that sometimes they'll come in and have a $2,000 budget and spend 40. So budget projections are, knowing full well that the storm is coming, but they'll put down whatever they need to in their budget. So we have to really, really ask questions. I'm going to ask some questions this time. Is this a real number?
I think I have 16 years of grilling budgets.
Well, if I say zero budget, that's different from saying give us a level funded budget. So what do you want me to do?
Level of
To me, it
under.
really doesn't matter, because I'm going to take their budget personally and do whatever I want with it. And then this board will decide what the bottom line is. So,
Level or less is what
Yeah.
I would love
think
to
to
see.
ask-
They'll have to justify every nickel.
I think to ask them to look at their budget from zero up to level funded, so that they actually look what's really needed. How much does each thing cost? Get a complete review of where they're at, so they're not just, okay, this is easy, level funded.
He's going after the birthday cake.
Well, if electric the last 3 years has cost $500, seems like you would budget $500.
The only thing he's not going to go after is the candy and the Christmas parade. We all know he's not going to touch that.
Dark chocolate.
But I'm with John on this budget thing, though.
that
Yeah.
fixed up there,
Yeah.
I really am
why
with
isn't
John
it
on this.
fixed?
because we
Yeah.
have to get a high-low or something in here to do it.
What? The stain or what's under it?
Yeah. How do you
Replace
get up
those two
there?
tiles.
Replace two tiles.
Put
And
a
the
big
ladder's
ladder.
underneath.
I'll do it.
That ladder.
Is it too high?
Joyce, what's wrong with that?
Getting them out wouldn't be that hard, considering how they're set in there. Getting in a new one might be harder.
Have you seen the ladder that's under there?
No, but it's gonna have to be a
I'm
22-foot
dying to
step
hear
ladder.
You'll hit the same one.
Because
Will it?
I've
Well,
done
there
many
you go.
of
That
those
might work
in
then.
telephone work.
That's a big old step ladder.
We had him on it, out there in the middle of the street.
All right. Okay, so what else you got? Moving right along,
Okay,
folks.
so
Yeah,
with
sure.
Cindy,
It's too
you're
late for
gonna,
that.
that's gonna be on the agenda next week.
All right.
Gave it to John, I'm good with what she suggested.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I'm good with what she
that all right?
suggested. I just hadn't seen it, I hadn't read it, I had no idea what it was.
What?
Cindy's request.
Oh,
I'm good with what she suggested. Everybody, what do you think?
yeah.
The $5 step? Okay. Make a motion that
Shouldn't
we,
cost the town to do this.
I make a motion that we accept town clerk, tax collector's proposal to
Raise the fee.
Nope, lower the fee.
lower
Lower
the
the fee.
$5 of exactly what the DES applications, the mailings.
Second.
All those in,
I kind of didn't get that. I got the $5 was a fee above and beyond the $10.
More.
She goes on to say, oh, yeah, we have to
Says
store them for 7
We used
years.
to charge 10, but now we don't have to return them to DES. It is the responsibility of the person who brings them to us. We
Right.
really don't have any responsibility to send them further on. They come here,
And then they send
and then they have to come and collect them, and I think they are responsible for getting the signatures, doesn't it say?
So all we're getting is,
the applicant has a few choices, hand-delivered, drop-off, and pickup. The applicant can either provide a postage-paid envelope or a check in the amount of $5 made payable to the town for the mailing and handling fee. Last year, we only took 6 applications.
Do away with the $10. Does it say that in there and I just missed it?
Yep.
It says.
It
we should-
says,
we should
before
lower
this
our-
change, when an application was submitted to my office, we would charge the $10 filing fee and the total cost of the certified certified return receipt to DES as mandated by law. We verify that the application is complete, and if needed, we contact the Conservation Commission for their review and/or signatures. Now the responsibility falls to the applicant to send to DES after the signatures are obtained, so that process is no longer needed. How it affects Tilton, the cost of retaining the documents for 7 years storage, the cost to Tilton that will be mailing the applicant back to the applicant if requested. We will not be collecting any fees whatsoever.
Aha, that's the part I missed.
And then the applicant, the Guilford Board of Selectmen decided to implement a flat fee of $5 for the service. And that's when she said the applicant has a few choices, hand-delivered, drop-off, and pickup. The applicant can either provide a postage-paid envelope or a check in the amount of $5 made to the town for mailing and handling. So that's where the, drops off the $10, but now
Okay,
it goes to
right.
5. So, I made a motion.
I second
Ted,
it.
You seconded it.
Yep,
All those in
okay.
favor?
Aye.
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 and then I just, one other point of clarification. So start from zero, level fund budget-wise. Does that mean that we can include a merit percent? The same merit percent?
I think that's
You
part
can
of the
include
selectmen's
anything,
budget.
whether or not we accept it will be different,
You could
because
suggest a merit
yes.
increase if that's in your budget.
I would suggest put it in, but, we may change it this year.
All right, so tomorrow morning I'll relay all this to Tim, but I'm sure he'll watch the video, so, but I'll tell him right away.
Tim?
And let me just check my list here quickly.
He does watch it.
Oh, I thought that was 7 o'clock.
No, sir. Party on,
The
guys.
rest is,
Party on, Wayne.
Have we ever heard from Ray Marges on removing that safe?
let's ask him again.
Well, you got your tractor, can we deliver it?
Not in my tractor, that sucker's heavy. But I will try knocking that stump over.
Did you all read the New Hampshire Humane Society letter that I sent to the board?
Yes.
My
read it.
email still won't open.
Okay.
So no.
They wanted to invite us to a, I gotta find it here. Oh, here it is. Invite us to Wednesday, September 17th, from 4 to 6. They'll be hosting the Lakes Region Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours Meet and Greet. And she says, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in person, but thought this would be a great opportunity to do so, and she hopes that I pass this along to everybody.
Tuesday night?
It's Wednesday, September 17th, and that's also the night of
Applebee's.
Tip-a-Cop at Applebee's.
I was gonna say that.
What
But
time
the
is
other-
Tip-a-Cop?
For 5 to 9,
5 to 9.
And the Humane Society is what time?
4 to 6.
4 to 6.
We have a senior center from 10 to 1, too.
Yes, and the senior center's 10
What
to 1.
is the senior center at 10 to 1?
We're serving
Senior,
senior center.
we don't have to serve, that was verified. We don't have to serve, we're the ones that are going to get served for dinner.
Dinner,
Senior week,
lunch.
lunch.
No, I'm thinking that I've got a 7 AM that day that I may or may not get there, but I'll be trying to.
Okay. The second reason why she sent us the email was, I wanted to open dialogue if the town is interested in discussing and presenting options to you regarding revising the contract that used to be in place for your constituents in our animal shelter. I know you've moved away from our service 2 or perhaps 3 years ago. It's got to be at least 6.
6 years,
At least, because I've been here 6, and I know we haven't.
back in '08.
Simply because I'm looking at what our partnership capabilities might be in 2015. I wanted to reach out from the professional and animal welfare standpoint. I'm not aware of where town of Tilton currently takes strays and abandoned animals, but wanted to put the offer on the table that we, New Hampshire Society, are certainly ready and willing to forge that option again. We have much more to offer contract town residents than ever before, and would be thrilled to do so again for the town. So she said she'd be glad to put a packet together. I replied to that and said, it would be great to have a packet. It's always, good to look.
I'd like to know what the options were. We have one
Oh, it's always
option
good
right
to know
now.
options.
Right. It would be good to have an
It's
alternative.
okay for us, but
Right. So she's going to send us a packet for that, but also wanted to invite us to the,
Joyce, we'll need
and that's at the
statistics to
Humane
truly get
Society up in Meredith.
yes, from 4 to
that. Yeah, we need to know
6.
how many animals they dropped off,
I think it's
say,
5 to 9.
this year or last year. Let's do last 3 years.
How many?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought that
No,
was,
I'm just saying, we're gonna have to know that information, because one of the reasons we switched is not only because the price went up, but because the time.
It took, right?
It's
time to get up there.
almost 2 hours.
Once you get up
sometimes
there,
2
drop
and a
them off,
half.
do the
paperwork.
thing and come back. Yeah, it'd take a couple hours.
As well as
There's an officer.
residents trying to claim their pets if
And
they
that
don't
was
have
the other issue,
transportation,
was,
that they,
yeah, that was quite a,
Well, we should find out what this guy has provided for our money down here, and we go accordingly.
excuse me?
We should find out how many they've brought over, and
Right.
at least check the price. If
Past
it's
3 years.
$400 an animal, it works out as, we have to think about
No, I
that.
don't think it is.
I don't either.
Probably not, but without the information, how do you know?
Yeah,
Well,
we need the information to give it in.
Maybe we can, if they're not bringing many over there, maybe we can negotiate his fee.
You might have that in your, oh, no, that was,
The other email,
look on dashboard agreements.
the other email request I got was from State Representative wannabe Brian
Yeah.
Gallagher.
He isn't even elected yet.
Did you?
So that-
Well-
for me, it's a waste of time. When he's elected in the position, I'd love for him to come in. But the primary has yet to take
Why,
place.
he wanted to come in and talk to us again? We've done that already.
I think, yeah, we did make it clear that we weren't getting much representation of the town, and he was going to come in and talk to us what he'd do.
If
but
he hey, John, if he comes in here once he's elected, yay, that would be better than, how many reps have you seen come in so far? Jeannie Forrester came in and sat here since,
Dennis and Ian Raymond come in.
not up here with us, not since John's been elected.
Ian comes in,
When?
Oh, he comes in
he
all
has
the
regular
time.
hours.
For different
Yeah.
things, yeah.
I'm talking about right here at a
Yeah.
selectmen's meeting.
Oh, at a selectmen's meeting, no. If we ask him to come in, he comes in.
Events,
He
I
came
just
in-
been missing him the rest. I know Dennis has hours. I didn't know Ian did, but
He's come into a couple of selectmen's meetings to know the status of legislation that we
I've
asked
seen
him
him
to pass.
a couple
No, he's come
times.
to selectmen's meetings to update us.
And I've seen him here
he
a couple of
comes in.
times.
During the day.
I would love to see the representatives more often.
I hear you on that one.
That's the kicker. Once-
Right here, right in those
Once
chairs, I would like to
he's
see them.
If he is elected, I'd love for him to come in.
We'll have to know.
We have
I don't
fire,
want him to campaign on our dime.
Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS Open House is October 11th from 10 to 2.
They're having an open
Tilton
house?
Northfield Fire and EMS Open House. It-
National Fire Week or something.
Yep, it's Fire Prevention Week,
When is it gonna be?
October 11th, 10 to 2.
October,
11th, 10 to 2. In
Park Street or Center Street?
Park Street.
Wow. My dance card's getting full.
Yeah. So this is only scratching the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, we have to talk to the board about that.
Oh,
I've never had one like this come in.
I
I think this comes under freedom of speech. This is constitutional rights. He is not selling anything.
Oh,
He's
really?
expressing.
Want to send it down when you get done? Because I'd
Yeah,
love
I
to.
was going to start with John.
Sure.
He's expressing his religious preferences, and that is granted under his constitutional rights.
God bless
So I don't
America.
think we can say no or where,
We can.
unless it's safety issues. The Constitution of the United States of America doesn't allow us to suppress
Fill
religious.
out an application, just so we would have the information.
But why would we allow that on public profit? I mean, we can't allow him on private property to do that.
But
He has to ask permission from the owner of the private property to do that. He can't just go on
Right,
private
but
property.
That's civil, that's nothing to do with us.
Right, but I mean, you know, even in,
If he wants to stand in Riverfront Park and spout out whatever religious,
Oh, yeah, he has every right to
Every
do so. He does.
as long as
Every
it doesn't
right.
obstruct the traffic
public
or
park.
as long
the
as it's
people.
not a safety issue and he's not obstructing anybody, yeah. That's constitutional.
That's freedom of religion at its most basic level.
Is that number 2?
Even as long as it's in Westboro Church.
oh, pass these down to John. These are last night's budget stuff for him.
Stuff for you.
Budget. Okay, so we'll go into non-public and then just do selectmen's reports when we get out. How's that sound, everyone?
Delightful.
All right, make a motion that we go into non-pub per RSA 91A:3, legal and personnel. Roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi,
You.
me.
Everyone.
You know, this isn't standard.
We're ready.
Give my stuff away.
Make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to personnel permanently and as they pertain to legal as the matters are resolved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, go ahead,
Okay,
Joyce.
I received a phone call from Robin at Lowe's, and they held their employee meeting last Sunday morning, and they have a number of volunteers that they're very excited about helping us to restore the wooden gazebo on the Tilton Northfield Island. One of their suppliers, Olympic Stains, has offered to donate the stain and also to dip the shingles. I have dipped shingles, so I know this is a good
huge.
thing. This is huge. She's just waiting to hear back from them on the timing, because Lowe's is providing the shingles and Olympic Stains is going to stain them. So it may not be September 22nd, we may have to go into the following week of
So
September.
is it a weekday thing that they're going to do or a
They'll
weekend?
be there all week, just about all week. The other thing, and that their landscaping department will be doing some, they'll kind of clean up the flower beds there, that one flower bed, and they will be doing some plantings. They're going to put in some perennials and annuals.
Boy, they got work to do.
Do you have any leftover arbors? Isn't there arbor that's missing?
There used to be an arbor in the garden.
Yeah.
Nice metal. I mean, it's not a good time of year to sell them.
Yeah.
We can just
Might get one cheap.
keep
End of
asking.
season arbors.
I really appreciate all that from
Yep.
Lowe's and all of our
Yeah, they're great.
local vendors have helped us out.
They're wonderful. All right,
You didn't want this?
Oh, I thought that was, okay.
All right, the winter farmers market will be starting December 13th at the Old Agway, which is now Auto Serve. Just for everyone's information. Joan came in the other day.
So now, detail or no detail?
That's a question.
We don't have to talk about that
We
tonight.
don't, we should keep that, should ask the chief next Thursday.
That's right.
Can we put a question mark and ask the chief for whether or not the farmer's market needs a detail?
That's a detail.
Detail.
I'm on the fence. After being down there watching, I didn't see, like, Sundays, the need
The
for
Sundays, I
detail.
think, was the issue.
Saturdays, yeah, but
Sundays is the issue.
Only takes one.
Okay, reports from selectmen? Does anybody have anything?
I have a question for Joyce. Where are we with heating on, repairing the heating on the stage? Anywhere?
It's all part of the budget. But maybe we can get that done this year.
We haven't gotten anybody in here to look at it and really go through
What
it.
about Brian?
Brian is the only one that has looked at it.
Okay, so I'll talk to you Monday about that.
Okay, anybody else got anything?
School Formula Committee,
got a
we
bunch
met
of stuff.
last night.
So,
We've got a consensus, we're going to vote on recommendations and have a public hearing that's coming up. I turned off my calendar, but it will be publicized. It's going to be held along with the school district. It appears there's not going to be any changes to it. One of the things are the spikes that we see. We've ran a lot of different things and looked at different ways to address that. And one of the things we've noticed is it also corresponds with what towns get assessed at what dates. And the school formula committee asked for the selectmen to go to their select boards and ask, would they be interested in getting everybody on the same year for their reassessments, so that everybody's on the same schedule, working something out between the towns, or possibly just looking at working.
what is the difference? I mean, Samanton does it in 2012, we do it in 2015. They want to make sure that all the assessments are done in the same year.
If everybody's on the same year schedule, it prevents spikes. You may have one year where sales are different and the economy's different, and that town gets assessed then, and they're running with those numbers. And so things have a tendency to go up and down. So one town might all of a sudden go way up, and that
How
would
could we arrange that?
if that's.
We just had our town assessed this year.
Yeah.
that
We
would
don't want
cost
to pay
us...
to have it
Right,
done
that-
again.
The cost of having it done again is huge
We were
to
on
us.
board with this after the last session of school formula committee. I was on the full school formula committee then. And we were all on board, we're all ready to do that, and Northfield changed their minds.
So it would cost us, even if we decided to do it now, we'd have to pay for another revaluation.
As far as I'm
It's
concerned,
very expensive.
Well,
Northfield
that's not
and
necessar-
Samanton
That's not
want to-
necessarily true. It may not be right away, maybe they would jump onto our schedule. But are the selectmen interested in just looking into it and seeing what it would be?
It can't do any harm to check.
well,
If they want to change to our schedule, I don't want the taxpayers in Tilton to have to pay extra to be reevaluated early. I just don't think it's good for the taxpayers.
we just paid to have that done this year.
Yeah, that's $58,000.
Yeah, if Samanton and Northfield want to adjust theirs to meet ours, bring it on.
Well, what's
But
the
I'm not
consensus you-
interested in having the taxpayers of the town of Tilton pay again
but
to have it done.
Let me explain.
Just so that
I'm just getting
Northfield or one of the other
consensus. Would
towns.
the selectmen like to go and participate in just looking at that possibility, or are they adamantly against, we will not even look at?
Oh, no, I think
I'll
we
attend
should,
the meeting.
I think we should go and listen to what there is to say.
Sure.
It may or may not work out. If it can work out, yay, good for everybody.
And-
If it
and that
can't,
was-
well, you know.
And the other part was, and maybe even just go to everybody using the same company, so they have the same
Oh, good luck with that.
thing. But
Everybody chooses their own company, as you know.
everything
Not
was good
gonna
luck.
happen. I'm not
You know,
switching.
The formula got figured out. We've had a lot of things between Northfield, Tilton.
Yay.
We figured out we're still working on the trail. We've had parks, the island.
Oh, God, I thought Tilton Northfield was the same place for a long time when I first came here. Well, I was only in 10th grade, but,
So, you know, if the selectmen, I can go back and
Why
say,
did the
we're
formula-
open to discussion on anything.
Why did the
regarding-
formula feel they shouldn't change the formula?
The actual report will be out and they're going to vote on it because there were 2 people missing, so they wanted to make sure. So we'll release all that stuff. I don't want to say anything that I misunderstood wrong.
So you've already made this decision
No.
to not change.
there's a public hearing before it's ratified, right?
There will,
But
first, there will be a vote with all members present to decide on what they want to go to report to the school board. And that will be done at the next meeting, which it's in a few weeks. Then after that, that recommendation will be brought to the public hearing, to the school board meeting, and there'll be a separate public hearing for it.
there are no discussions of the Board of Selectmen about it before you made the decision.
They don't need to, do they?
Well, yeah, we always did.
I don't see why they need to. They're a separate district.
No, our
The
representative.
school district isn't.
Our representative to the Formula Committee represents the town of Tilton, not the school district.
I understand
That's
that.
the town of Tilton's needs.
A
So as
school
the-
board member, a selectman, and a member of the budget committee from Tilton
Yeah, they probably should have come back and at least said, I guess.
States.
Have a conversation
Yeah.
with the assessors or the
Right.
selectmen to see how, there was kind of a missing component this year.
What was,
Usually
back and-
there's a group you as the member would have come back to the
I've
Well, the-
reported every meeting and.
select, yeah, but you said you came, you met, and I'm just kind of
I've asked for
surprised that
input.
you've already gotten to the end, but there was no discussion of, where you were at, what you were doing, what you were thinking of.
They gave you volumes of paper.
Yeah,
Those have volumes and volumes.
and none of that came back to us.
It might have. I can't open my email.
I mean,
I know I sound like a
How can we
parrot.
express an opinion if we don't have any information on what to express it on? And I stated a while ago that I had lots of opinions, and I do. But I guess I can express
I
them in
think
a public
that-
hearing, but
Right. I think it's important when you serve as a selectman on a board that that communication comes back to the board so that we know what's going on. I mean, Joe fills us in on Lakes Region Planning, when you, even
The
in
co-op.
budget.
But there hasn't
do it.
been any controversies or any problems. We've looked at the numbers, we've gone back over it.
where's
Just
all
to
the
come back
paperwork
and
on the
say that.
numbers?
Right, just to
formulas
come
you
back and
looked
say
at?
that would be something, you
I
haven't
have.
even done that.
But you didn't give us any of the
Right, you didn't
formulas
give
you
us
looked at,
backup on
any of
it.
the proposals.
Next time out.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what you got, though, if I can.
Yeah, if you could
Figures.
bring us in any of that information, then at least we can be ready for the public hearing.
But I just wanted to add to John that we tried to get Tilton, Northfield, and Samberton on the same assessment schedule. And Northfield and Samberton were on the same year. We were in an off year. So we went and got special permission from DRA to change from 2014 to
Yeah.
2013. And then we did that, and then Northfield decided they got a special deal from their assessing company that they did theirs in 2012 now because their assessing company needed the work. So they changed their assessment year. So here we were,
We
went back to 2014,
I
'cause we had to
completely
write
understand
again
that,
and say, go
but
back.
we can all talk about the past, but in the future, are we interested in, if we can work this out, and something can work out, are we interested in going to the table and talking about it?
Always interested, I'm always interested in talking about it.
And that's what I was telling you, we went over the formulas and did that, and that was what we found, was that it's like,
All right, Catherine, you still had more things that I cut you off on.
Oh, no, I just wanted to put it in because Joyce was still with us. We have a number of roads where we've been requested to look at the speed limits. We've done the speed tests, and I guess the process for lowering those speed limits, I know there is one. One of them is compiling that information. Silver Lake Road, Caleb Hill Road is into it, the Gem District, Manville, over there. And I did email off the chief. Do you know what the process is? I know we have to gather the information, we have to, because some of these are state roads. Well, all but Manville is state. Manville, we can choose to lower it. We have to go to, Bill, down at traffic.
Bill Rollins?
Bill Lambert. At traffic. And then they come up and do their study, right?
Right.
Didn't we ask them already to lower it in downtown?
Downtown, but this is Silver Lake Road, which is a Class 2 state aid road, and Caleb Hill, which is Class 2 state aid road.
What did you want to lower it to?
I don't know. I just want to make sure the process is followed. I mean, we haven't discussed that at all. But I know he's done the speed tallies, he's put his machine out there and we've got him going. I just don't want to drop it because I've had several residents ask me about it. The culvert on, in front of John Chase's house over there in Manville is something we have to do this year. We can't wait. I think Dennis is kind of waiting. These are some pictures I took. I'll start with John with them.
Is that 3M?
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll see in the picture, I've got a gas can sitting there. That's on top of where the catch basin is. Now, I met with Dennis over there, we took the cover off the catch basin, we couldn't find a concrete catch basin in there. This is a real old thing. And evidently, there's a pipe that goes across to Joe's house. And it's buried underground. So that's why it backs up. And you can see that one of the pictures...
There's no outlet.
Right, you can see the damage it's done on the left-hand side of the road. You can see the proximity to his property. So there's this huge flooding that takes place there, and it becomes very icy, and Lake Manville appears.
You're talking about on his side, you can't find it.
On his side, well, he knows where it is, he's gonna uncover it, but he claims it's 4 to 5 feet underground. If that's the case, we're gonna have to cut through that road and start over.
The culvert is not 5 feet underground. I know right where it is.
He's gonna unbury it. But all I'm saying is...
It's still not 5 feet underground.
This is not on the schedule for Department of Public Works. This is the damage on his property to do anything with.
I went over and walked it, took pictures.
And we've got to do something.
I agree.
And we can't wait.
We've been talking about this now for a year and a half.
Years, yes.
Why isn't it on the Department of Public Works schedule? I thought we talked to Dennis about this.
Well, when I'm
We have
bringing
talked
it
to
up,
Dennis
so when
about
he
it, right
comes
here at
in
this
next
table.
week, that we're all aware of this, you'll have time to go over and look for yourself.
Well, the question was, are we going to go run it down the road, the
No.
big pine trees? Do we go over here in this neighborhood, the wetlands? And we got the guy's lawn across the street. There's no good options here.
Yes, there is. I've talked to him.
Yeah?
We can run that pipe pretty much in the same place it is. The elevation of it is going to be critical. We need to move the catch basin a little bit closer to the road so it's actually going to catch water off the road. And we can run it underground in that first part of his driveway, and you'll see in the picture of his driveway, there's some woods there.
Into the wetland area.
No, there's
Well,
some
right
wood.
on the edge of the wetland
No.
area, because behind that is wet.
No. So there's a little patch of woodlands there
Yes.
that it could dissipate in. Then there's driveway area behind that, and then another 5 or 6.
Behind these trees is driveway.
Yes.
There's a, like, they ride ATVs or
Well,
whatever.
it might as well
there.
be a driveway.
Oh, okay.
Well, when I was
Then you
there,
got a
when I
driveway
was there a
permit.
few weeks ago, it's pretty much a driveway. I mean, it's, I
It's
can
his
drive,
property, he can do with it
I
as
can
he
drive my
pleases.
truck down it.
Wow.
But my point is, there's a patch of woodlands before that road area, whatever it is. And then the wetlands are another 5 or 6 feet from the edge of that. So there's a place for it
There's
to
no
go.
salt on this road, it shouldn't be an
It's a no
issue.
salt road. Right.
It's just draining water, and some of it
Just
might have
draining water.
sand in it.
Did Dennis get the height of that catch basin where the pipe goes?
No,
And
that's
height of
the
that? Because
problem.
that's what we've talked about, I think, the
I've
last
gotta-
2 meetings.
I'm gonna talk to Joe and see if he's uncovered the end of the catch basin.
Dennis was going to measure
But
the height.
regardless of where it is, you're gonna have to put a catch basin in, because there really isn't one in there. It's really hysterical. We were both quite shocked. We're standing there going, whoa, when we looked
Isn't
in
that
home.
the same thing up at Hill Road?
No,
That Hill Road just kind of goes into the ground?
Hill
slows it
Road was
down?
designed to do that. This was not. This actually has an outlet pipe in it, and it was designed to drain out. What's happening is Mr. Chase has expanded his yard area and changed his driveway entrance over the years. And this pipe, when it was above ground, was causing much more damage than this picture indicates.
But he filled it in, though,
He
right?
filled it in.
So,
The town didn't have any clear right-of-way to it, because when, was it Loranger that developed it?
so why are we changing?
There was no paperwork. There's nothing to say it's ours. You can't find anything that says this is the town.
Then why would we be changing it?
Well, we're responsible for the
Because
condition
we
of
need to drain the water
drainage.
from that
Gotta
road.
go somewhere.
He's willing to allow us to discharge it on his property, which is going to be a lot less than considering digging up all those pine trees along the side of the road, trying to put a culvert in, going down the road, and then across under the road. We
Well,
already,
Dennis has issues with undermining the roots of those big pine trees.
oh, they'll be dead. You
And they're
can't.
not our
Legally
trees to
do
cut.
that?
What?
If
If
it's,
he gives us permission, we'll get...
Yes, I
but
showed
if
him.
it's not it's not our culvert, and if we go into his property,
We have an easement. I showed him
It
one of the,
is our
he has in
culvert.
his hands.
We don't have an exit for
Sewer
it.
easement.
But it's under the road
Which is
and we
what
put
we
it
would
in.
have
But
to
he
sign
buried
with
it.
him.
He did,
to
on
Put the
his end.
culvert in. And he
have no
understands
easement.
that, and he is very willing to do that. There is no problem on his side. The problem is ours, getting her done.
Right, and so does Dennis feel that this is a proper way to absorb that water by discharging it onto his land? That will handle it?
No, the problem is the elevation of the culvert pipe, which we've discussed, because, you've got a distance to travel if that culvert pipe is 3 or 4 feet down underground when it gets there. Then to get it from that distance to this distance, you're gonna be underground.
That what we discussed a couple times already, and that's where we were at, that Dennis was going to look at it and find out what the elevation is and see if it will work?
Last time I talked to Dennis, he needed to see the end of the pipe. I called up Joe Chase to have him uncover it. That's when he told me he saw that it was 3 to
Dennis will
4
be here
feet
next
down.
week?
But my point is, it's
So can we give him a heads up
not...
if we need that
Yes,
answer?
it's not on a schedule. The reason I'm bringing it up is because Dennis is coming in next week, and I want everybody to know what I'm talking about. And if you want to go visit it, go visit it.
Oh, I've been over
I've been
there
there.
20 times.
So what you're telling me is, we're gonna discharge the water on his property, which is doing already, or we're gonna fix the culvert.
It
What's the
isn't,
problem with discharging water on his property in the first place?
Where we're going to discharge it is in a wooded area, not in the middle of his
Driveway.
driveway.
Well, it's
And
not in the middle of
what
his driveway
happens
now.
is, what the damage,
Or
the picture
extend the
that I
pipe.
showed you that you're seeing is not coming from the culvert, obviously. It's runoff from
The road.
the other roads, because it's not getting to
any place.
any place.
So are we gonna do that for everybody who calls up and says the water's running off the road differently, so we're gonna fix it?
There's
For
a,
everybody in town that calls up and says the same problem.
whenever it rains
sure we're
substantially, that road
We have.
floods halfway out.
I'm going to call it catch basin, black, or any other word, an existing culvert pipe. And
That
we
he
have to
buried.
discharge
That he
that
buried.
culvert pipe
Covered the end of
someplace.
it.
I haven't been able to find in town
years.
hall, and I invite anybody else that wants to go search in the basement.
It's his
To
land.
find
We
something
didn't
that
have an easement,
indicates
we just
we
dumped
even have
water on it.
easement
Dump any water
to
anywhere.
have that culvert on his property.
No, we put a culvert right across
So
underneath
if
the road.
he's willing to sign an
under his
easement
lawn.
to allow
Somebody
us to
did.
do that, rather than forcing
It's
us to
there.
go along the road, killing trees,
Yeah, we don't want
where it's gonna be a lot cheaper, especially if that end of that culvert pipe is at a good elevation.
So he
'cause
wants to sign the easement, so it...
He will sign that easement.
and
But it
that- so
doesn't
that
take
it-
care of the
it makes sure
problem,
that we
because the-
own it, and now we're officially
But-
responsible 100%.
The existing
Responsible
problem,
now.
the existing issue was we put the culvert in there, and
No.
because
Who did?
somebody had to put the culvert in there.
Who put the culvert in?
The person who developed that area put it in.
So it's not even our culvert.
Now, okay, now you're talking about something different.
No, I'm not.
That's not our culvert.
Oh, yes, it is.
Now, if a subdivision went in and they put it in, we didn't do it.
Why do we own Manville Road and why do we own
That I don't
Crystal?
know.
Anybody know?
No.
Because selectmen before us took it over, and they took over Crystal Lane. It's deeded, Crystal Lane is deeded to us.
Oh, well, then it's
So we
ours.
have a gentleman that
We inherited.
purposely
Filled in the,
filled in a culvert so it would not drain.
stay
Now,
on his property.
now, last year or the year
No, he
before,
wants
we
it to
wanted
stay
to go
across the
after
street
him
on
for
3M
doing
property,
that,
but
and
they
digging it
don't.
up, and
Yeah.
Rerouting
And I
it.
looked for any kind of easement, any kind of right-of-way, anything indicated that we owned the culvert. The catch basin is ours. There's no question. But I have nothing that shows that we have any type of easement or right-of-way to drain that culvert on his property. Nothing. Nada.
Was that put in way before you moved in?
Yep.
Then,
In fact, I think the ranger himself lived on
Why
that
is the
lot.
catch basin ours so far off the road? Couldn't it have been the landowner that decided they wanted to get rid of the water in their yard and gave it to the other neighbor?
could have been a number of things.
No, because it was...
We don't know.
No, there's been no...
So,
The abutter to the catch basin is,
there we go again.
Quinty,
it's illegal.
I know it is.
what is it called? No,
Well, maybe
3M?
first off.
I don't know what it's called now.
So if the culvert's at the proper height, we can solve this whole thing.
If the culvert pipe that's on Chase's property is at the proper height, and he's still willing to sign that easement, which he was the last time I saw him, it's not gonna be too bad. We can connect to it, and then, what is it? Half an inch every 4 feet? Is that the pitch? Whatever the pitch is, and bring it over to where it needs to go.
It should run downhill.
Run downhill, there you go.
Not too fast, not too
Not,
slow.
yeah, just like a lot of things in life, it runs downhill.
Like I said, I just wanted you to be aware of this and do whatever research you want to do.
Okay. That, I have
Add more.
an issue with Public Works while we're on Public Works.
Oh, go ahead.
The police department called Dennis to have them sweep the end of the drive for all the dirt that's built up there, because the motorcycles are sliding, going in and out of there. And he was told no. This was on 8/25, and I got a text today that he still hasn't done it. It was after asking him to do it. So could we ask Dennis to get up there and,
How about if the Board of Selectmen tells the Public Works Director to go up there
And
and remove
want
that
it clean.
sand, since it is a
I have
safety?
a question.
it is a safety
Is
issue.
it because they're busy working on paving projects, or exactly why did
This
he
was a couple
say?
weeks ago, they weren't working on paving
No,
projects.
no, that's trying,
They were mowing
8:25.
yesterday.
Maybe today.
We want it cleaned.
I mean, it's a hazard for them if they take out the motorcycle, or if they come in on a motorcycle, they slide, or if you on your motorcycle go in and
I don't
out.
go in there because I see all the sand. It's like ball bearings.
I came out of there,
Copeland, or is this coming out of the
That makes it
driveway?
difficult.
It's Copeland.
Copeland.
I came out of there the other day, and when I went to stop, I didn't for probably 18 inches, but it was enough to make me go, woo!
Wait a minute, I'm still moving.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa.
So that's what I was
That's a
told. I would
request.
appreciate if it got picked up. All right, Catherine.
Because Dennis is coming in next week, here's another issue, sharing road costs with other utilities. We just did Academy Street. The water company went in there, and I spoke of this before, they did their work, and they paid nothing to have the road paved. If they'd done the project by themselves, and we weren't going to be paving it, they would have paid to pave it.
Right.
So I believe that they should pay at least half, and that is the process. That's
I don't
used everywhere.
believe that.
You don't believe that the water district should have to pay for half?
The people in that area already pay their taxes, and they'll be taxed for the pavement, and they'll be taxed through the water district. Why should, they were gonna reclaim that road anyway. It's not like we did it just haphazardly. It was on our schedule, the water district knew it. Before you take and put all new asphalt on that, can we dig a trench and change water lines or whatever work they did? You betcha. So we didn't do any of the work, we just deferred the time that we were going to do the road. How would you charge the water district? Why would you do that? They didn't dig up the asphalt.
But they would have dug up the asphalt.
But they didn't dig up the asphalt. Why would they have to replace
This would be
asphalt
like the
they didn't dig up?
This would be like the city of Franklin coming into Tilton and saying, hey, we want to run gas line down through Main Street. Do you have any plans to pave it? Yeah, we do. Okay, well, we're going to run our gas line, and we're going to save the city of Franklin taxpayers all that money on not having to pave, and you guys just pave it all when we're done.
As far as they know, the people on Academy Street are getting water too.
I don't belong in the water district. The water district is a separate entity from the town
We
of
were going
Tilton.
to pave that road anyway. I think that's the thing that we're missing. We were going to reclaim that road. It's been on our road list for a long time. We did exactly what we said we were going to do. They dug up and replaced dirt and pipe in that roadway before we repaved it.
Then we shouldn't charge the utility companies, any utility company,
Do we
to
know,
pay for paving in the town of Tilton.
do we know
That's got nothing
definitive,
to do with nothing.
Yes, it does. It's a the water district is a utility,
We were ripping up the road anyway.
so every
what?
road we're gonna rip up anyway, nobody should have to pay to put their utility in it.
do we know definitively?
That's one thing, but they shouldn't have to pay to repave the road that we were going to repave anyway. If you want to charge them a fee for being underneath the road, that's one thing.
Nope, I want them to pay their share of paving that road.
I disagree.
Do we know definitively that they are not paying? Because yesterday,
When I asked
on
the
the
question
corner
of
of
Dennis, he
Spruce,
said they weren't.
well, on the corner of Spruce and High Street, John Chase was out measuring where they cut open into High Street.
That's different. We're not paving High Street, are we?
And then the water company
Goes
should
right
have
into
to
Spruce Street.
replace that pavement.
They trenched it into Spruce Street, and they were paving Spruce Street.
But-
It's connected.
It's,
If the
If they
sewer
cut into
put
High
in
Street,
a
they should
large sewer
repave
main
High Street,
and replaced
I think. But
a large section, I think on Morrison Ave they did that.
yeah.
Did the sewer department charge us for 50% of the repaving of the road? Would they do that? So if the sewer
We
department,
weren't doing a project there, no, they just paved it.
but they didn't charge us, but they gave us a fresh road. Right?
Of course they did. They're a utility.
But they didn't charge us half for the road. See,
These are town roads. These are roads that belong to the town of Tilton, not the water district. The sewer department is the town of Tilton. So it's almost
roads
redundant.
don't belong to the sewer department. They're separate, they got their own vote, and they do kind of what they want, up to a point.
They are part of their department within the town of Tilton. They are not a district. A district has nothing to do with the town of Tilton. That's a
So-
separate municipality.
If the water department was to put a new main in, let's say, go up X road, and we weren't planning to pave it,
They pay 100% of the paving.
well, we won't have to pave it again. We should depreciate it and pay them half of the depreciated amount?
No.
It's our
We had
word.
no intentions of working on that road.
I'm looking at it both
That
ways.
doesn't even make any sense.
We had no intention of working on the road. They tear up the pavement,
They
they
pay
should
for
repave it.
Yeah.
If
They
we're
pay
tearing
for
up the
They're
road
working on the road that
anyway,
we're working on, they should
schedule.
pay half.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Well,
That's plain and simple. That's, we're beating the dog to death now.
The prisoners were in Riverfront Park Tuesday and Wednesday. They repaired those paths, and I hope we didn't get enough rain for them to undo what they
Didn't
did.
settle this one. You're going to go right on and nothing was...
Well, I'm not
We'll
gonna,
bring it up again.
yeah, I'm not gonna, it's redundant.
It's-
It's redundancy, and
Think
it's...
about it.
you could say it 20 different ways. So far, I've heard nothing that would change my mind anyway.
But, you know, you bring something up, and if you want to resolve, we need to have...
I'm not gonna spend here until 10
selectman's-
o'clock at night arguing about that one. We can bring it up when Dennis is here. Prisoners were in Riverfront Park, they did a marvelous job, saved us. We've estimated upwards to $7,000.
Nice.
How'd they do?
Excellent, they did the brickwork, they did the stone dust paths, they cleared all the brush we've been trying to clear for 5 years along the river. And
I know what a partial free man can do.
I brought Chuck Mitchell over to meet him so that they could clear the brush on Ernie's and Salmon Run.
Well, you are tired.
And my last little bit is,
I have a question, Catherine, before we jump out of Riverfront Park. Golly, the uphill side as you go down the yellow brick road, if instead of continuing the bricks, you went to the left, there was a huge, maybe it's just above there, there was a huge canyon, a complete washout
That's what they filled in.
gully. I understand that. My question relates to, did they do anything whatsoever to divert the water for a future? That's a separate thing. Okay, all right, I was just curious,
yeah, now the park commissioners are working on that.
because it'll just happen again.
Right, but we don't have a good solution. I mean, probably the best thing to do is to concrete it all the way down and turn the corner. But we're looking at diverters, we're looking at trench drains. The problem with the trench drain is, where do you divert it to? The water comes rushing down over there at such a velocity, even out of a trench drain, it's gonna damage the lawn. There's not enough ditch on the right-hand side. You could run a culvert pipe all the way down to the river, but that would be quite costly, and then you've got to get through the wall.
Even a 4-inch with gravel catch basin type thing before the river to dissipate the water?
Well, that's the
That's
other
a
thing.
Parks meeting anyway.
Yeah, where do you want
I'll-
to put the catch basin?
Yeah, I'll go to a Parks meeting. That's not a selectman thing.
But the other issue is driveway permits should be placed in the tax card files, and they're not. The town clerk doesn't keep them.
Does
No one-
Dennis have it?
Town hall doesn't keep them. When they come in from DOT,
Does Dennis have it?
not from DOT.
Then we should definitely keep them.
Yeah, those should go in the tax card
Are you talking
files.
about the permits or the applications?
The permits, when the result comes from Department of Transportation, you can put in a driveway, and this is what you need to do, and this
Yeah, and
is
it's
how
got the
wide.
attached page.
And it
Okay,
needs to have
I thought those
a,
were, I always give those back to
culvert.
Gus. They're not being filed?
They're not
Where
being
did they
filed.
go? Are
I
they
have
there?
no idea.
Maybe Gary's got a file somewhere in his
Up on the
office.
top of the file cabinet in one little in and out box, they're all there. They've been there since
February?
February.
I looked for one from 2005 and couldn't find it. Finally had to go to District 3 to get it. But it just tells us, is there culvert, what is supposed to have been there? I think it's important that we have those histories of those properties.
In light of Mandel Road, that's important information.
Yeah, I'm done.
Can I see your list? Is that a list?
Yeah.
Let's see, just turn it over for a second, let me see.
You want to start at the beginning?
She's scrolling up.
That's the beginning of my list.
That's good.
Just scroll up. Joe?
Become quite the little technological wonder, haven't you, Catherine?
We already said that. Joe, you
No,
said
it's
you
just,
didn't
yours
have
is like
anything, right?
mine.
That's correct. I really don't have.
Probably not as
this week,
extensive
maybe.
as yours.
Well, you
Been
can
real
just
quiet.
email me your
Make a
list.
motion, we adjourn?
I'll email you back.
Second.
All those in favor?
Now I
Yes.
gotta add all these things on the list.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's right, it did. We caught you off guard.
And you missed another lively meeting.